Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, corn dog lovers of all ages, welcome to In the Box with your hosts, Matt and Adam.
Everybody get...
Hello there.
Ha!
And
How's
welcome
it going,
to
everybody?
Inside the Box.
Inside the box or on the barks.
On the Barks?
In the box.
MASL,
We've been doing this 2 years and we still don't know the name of the show. So
MASL Drama of the Week.
for the
Steve
last 2 weeks.
Steve
actually.
Caves is here for the colorful language. Was it Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow?
Yeah, Ray G. Biv is the
Blue.
colors of the rainbow, yeah.
Wait, green. I lost track of my color. That's all I got.
Well, blue, indigo, violet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I
the
forgot
Biv
green.
color.
I forgot the G.
Yeah.
And they have various shades of brown.
How do you forget that? What other color starts with G? Gray. I mean, gray you don't see in the rainbow.
Gray. Great? No, it's not a color.
Cake.
Cake. The cake is a color. So,
It does not begin. It does not begin with G though.
what a great cake.
Well then, yeah. I mean, that's
So some things happened this week.
so some things have happened over the last couple of weeks. So I hope you don't mind. This is entitled apparently the State of the Humor Address.
But you aren't wearing a dress.
So I wanted to give everyone kind of an update as to how I've been, what I've been up to, and so right now I am doing perfectly fine. For those of you that don't know, I just got back from a trip from California. And I got to be honest, guys, it's rejuvenated my passion for the sport. I mean, the whole experience was great. From going down to San Diego to meeting up with Philly, Panda, Jonathan, Coach Nordberg. I mean, just sitting, having lunch with them and talking shop. To being on the broadcast, which was completely unexpected.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was unreal. It's something that I wanted to do for quite a while, and I've been kind of bugging Tommy Tanner about it. So maybe that'll be like my submission. Like, listen to the 8 minutes 30 seconds until 6 minutes. That's how I sound on the mic. But no, it's lit a fire under me. And I'm here to promote the sport. As you can tell, I mean, look, I'm mostly a Utica fan. St. Louis, San Diego, Sunflower. This team with red. I don't know who they are.
What is that team?
I don't know. I think it's just up there.
Is it wait, let me there's a sound I have a sound effect for that. I have a sound effect for that. Is it or is it
Let's see what else. So I guess my point is I'm here to promote the sport as a whole. And I think we're gonna get into some things later on in the show that I will explain. But I just wanted to let everyone know I'm back, better than ever, super tired, but super happy to be here.
So the question everyone wants to know, we might as well just dive into it right now, because as soon as we go off this topic, there's a list of topics that we need to cover.
Good. So we're looking at a long show. All right, yeah, let's just dive right into it.
How are you and Ryan Hall?
Good.
So I don't need to, because I was prepared to make a slight change to our little presentation here, if you look at down there, it's weird because it's not mirrored. So it's, if you look down at this, so I was prepared to remove that and replace it with something maybe more generic,
Like a question mark
or universal, like that.
Oh, I'd be fine with that. It's cake.
But then I was thinking maybe we would leave that.
Yeah.
Take out.
A Utica City cake would be nice.
Wait, hang on. Okay, we would take out this.
It joins us together.
And do that.
And then that works.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ryan and I said that, and this is why I haven't been on the show in a couple weeks. I did say a kind of a knee-jerk reaction after the loss against Milwaukee. Things were said back and forth. I take back everything that I did say. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here in Utica with injuries. Not as many visa issues now. But injuries. Utica is decimated with injuries, and you can tell with the recent signings that Utica has done. He's doing what he can with what he has. So, and Ryan and I talked about it over the last few days. So yeah, things are good between the two of us, and
That's good.
I will be at the Odd on the 23rd, which is a Wednesday, against Baltimore.
Well, that's good. I do want to say hi to all sorts of people here because there are a lot of people in the chat that said hi. John Brewer, Bunswhacker, Capes 13, who I still don't know who Capes 13 is. I think it's a Capinos person, but I'm not sure. Cliff is here. Steve Caves is here. Geo is here. Hey, Geo, how's it going? Jack said it's called Outside the Box. So, okay, well, I don't have a box here, so I guess that's true.
So for Geo, him and I were talking today. That was completely he got a shout out, so that means he's still a part of In the Box.
There's going to be apologies and retributions that need to be made before then. Not retributions, reconciliations.
Retribution
is probably the wrong word for that.
Yeah.
But we got Aaron, Ian Bennett's whiter brother. Oh, I shouldn't have said it online. Jay is here, the old MJSL, our friend. Mike Volmer from Muskegon Risers is here, the 6'12" goalkeeper.
That dude was tall.
It was cool to meet him on the field at the Wave game.
Absolutely.
Who else is here? In the Box is here. Oh, wait, that's me. Jack's here. I said Jack. Susie's here. Hi, Susie. Who did I miss? LaSharon's here. Eddie Bear 60 is here.
Let me tell you a quick story about LaSharon. LaSharon was the loudest person in that arena.
And Adam G is here. Okay, I got everyone. Okay, go ahead.
She had this, so they gave away this, like, I don't know if it was like a fan or something. And she's sitting there banging it up against the
I have one of those somewhere.
Didn't compete with my cowbell, so I ended up getting my cowbell, my Utica City cowbell. It makes zero noise. It is the tiniest thing. Hang on.
Oh, is it time for a timeout or is it not?
Yeah.
I didn't mention Kevin. Is Kevin here? I missed him. Sorry, Kevin. Is he here? I didn't see chat from Kevin. What is that?
It is a cowbell.
That's not.
That's about as much noise as it makes right there.
And Johnny Freedom's here too. There was a night so remember when San Diego used to have like multiple thousands of people at a game?
Yes.
They had a night, this is a while, 5-6 years ago, where they gave away the first 5,000 people got a cowbell. And I was like, can you imagine 5,000 cowbells all going off at the same time?
I was mildly irritated when Utica did the vuvuzelas, and it was like given out to everybody. So I have like horns, like horns to the left of me, horns to the right of me. I didn't have any earplugs.
Yeah.
Although, fun fact, just a fun fact about Cowboys Salazar from San Diego. Before each game, he carries in a bunch of stuff to the arena. Has a bag full of earplugs.
Oh. Yeah, he probably wouldn't be able to bring half that stuff into the Milwaukee arena.
No, he would not.
They've banned a lot of things.
Yeah.
Eric still has his horn though. It's a little siren thing. It's 110 decibels. You didn't see Eric at that game. It's 110, and it's only about this big, and he wears it around his neck.
Oh my god!
And he blows in it. You blow in it. It can hit 110.
Is it like
decibels.
one of those like Viking horns?
No, but he found a video of like somebody made like a battleship horn into like a portable thing they could put like on a trailer and drive it around. Like we need that in the arena. Just
or you need one of those like Ricola horns.
Yes,
that starts at like the top of the arena and it comes all the way down.
Yep. Like the Minnesota Vikings team that shall not be named. Here
that
in
you
Wisconsin.
might have already mentioned, but that's okay.
So it's good to hear that you're good. We were all worried about you.
Yeah, I just it was tough for me, and I said this earlier. I mean, it was a knee-jerk reaction, and I kind of do that after drinking a little bit. Which Milwaukee fans, thank you for getting me to drink, and
I blame Jay and the Long Island iced tea.
But no, I know what was going on, and it's frustrating here. I mean, everyone's frustrated. The coach is frustrated. The players are frustrated. The fans are frustrated. But I mean, as Utica fans, we have to remember it's not how you start; it's how you finish. San Diego won the cup with a 4-6 record, so
4-7. No, it was 4-6.
4-7. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I think there is that shot, that possibility. I think the two signings that we had will definitely help a little bit. I don't know if it's the answer. But yeah, I'm mentally I'm feeling better, and yeah. So
Hang
there's
on,
that.
I bought a new space heater, and it's
From space.
much quieter. Well, it's amazing something so small can heat all of space, but it's making weird clicking noises, and I don't know if it's going to explode or not.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good, really. I don't think.
So I think when everyone talks about like how much better the sport was in the 80s and 90s, I don't think they mean to sign the same players from the 80s and 90s. I don't think that's what they meant. So I don't know if Utica got that wrong.
I don't think that's what it is. One of the things I did say, I think, I don't know. I think Utica needs to be speedier, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this when we do predictions and stuff like that. Speedier, and maybe people with more. We definitely need another person up top, like a target forward. I think Andrew Hoxie's a great player, and Lucy on the midfield is definitely creative.
Is Hoxie the
So
answer?
we'll see what happens. It's gonna take the team a little while to kind of gel. A lot of new players coming in and out. So I'm hopeful going forward,
Well,
and not just Utica. I'm talking the league as a whole, and we're gonna be talking about the elephant in the room here soon. No, it's not here. No, it's not there. No.
What?
No.
Oh.
No. There is no actual elephant.
Well, that's disappointing. I like elephants.
Well,
I don't know what I would
maybe-
feed one though.
maybe next week you can rent an elephant to be on the show.
So fun story. I out of sheer curiosity, I'm scrolling through Facebook one day. This is a couple of years ago, and I see life-size giraffe. So I'm like, what is this? And I have to click on it, and it's like an 8-foot stuffed giraffe for like $7,000. And
I've seen that as well.
And I will tell you, if you click on it, you will get ads for stuffed giraffes and emails for stuffed giraffes for many, many months afterwards.
I know someone that might like those emails.
Well, I mean, can you get one shipped to their house for less than $7,000?
Probably not.
Probably not. One of the things I was amazed at seeing Everton, Pablo, and to lesser effect, Stefan St. Louis signed, because I know I know he left the league kind of in his prime for playing, but he had a really good coaching gig, and that's why he left. But Pablo and Everton, seeing those guys come back was neat. And if anyone hasn't seen the highlight, it's all over the place. It's on MASL Primetime. It's on Game Highlights, and it's on the Goal of the Week from MASL. The top of the arc restart, Everton with his crazy weird hop over back heel pass to Pablo's top shelf, killing all the cookie jars underneath the crossbar goal, was one of the best things I've seen this season.
Yeah, that's Jonathan Reimer and I were talking about it at lunch, and actually, no, we were talking about it up in the booth right before we went on. And I go, I think what made that play was the pass. And that's why Everton was brought in. It's the top of the arc restarts.
That's what Litton told us. Yeah, Mark Litton said.
I mean, he's super creative, and having Pablo on the restarts as well is a definite help.
Because it looked, I mean, if you watch that again and slowly or watch it, it looks like he's shooting. It looks like he takes a shot with his right foot and somehow then kicks it with his left foot without. Like, I don't know how he stays above ground for that long. But it was just like,
maybe he has like shoes that.
Maybe he has one of those things
shoes.
like in Back to the Future, the hoverboard.
Yeah, in hoverboard form. It's probably like in the soles of the
rocket shoes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to look at the comments here. Jay solemnly swears that he's had his last Long Island iced tea. But then again, Jay, we were talking like give you like a dozen beers and a couple Long Island iced teas, and you can be on our show as a guest, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll wait for the next league announcement before we do that. I
didn't drink at all during the games.
Probably good.
I behaved and was good, and
that's good. Well, welcome back. And I didn't want to make it. I was in a tough place. I didn't want to say I'm absolutely not doing any more shows without you, but that's kind of, this has been like the heart and soul of what, you were the heart and soul of In the Box. You created it. You tried to run it before it even became its own thing. I mean, I clicked the buttons, but it was your idea and your thing to create the group, and it seemed it's always Matt and guests. It
was a rough couple weeks. But I mean, I had a lot of time to think about it, and
I think
it's good to be back and not going anywhere.
We've had, I mean, Wave fans, and I don't think he'll be watching this, but if he does watch this, I think a lot of Wave fans have had interactions with owner Mike Zimmerman, and not all of them have been good. I know he blocked me and a couple others from the Wave page at one point, and we got in it. We've all completely made up. We had a good talk a couple of games ago on the field after the game, and I know Cliff and he and Mike was like, I'm not even accepting apologies. We both made mistakes. Let's just kind of wash our hands of this and move on. So we were coming up with like the idea of like a special theme night. They have like the Star Wars theme night, and they have the Milwaukee always has the princesses and superheroes, which is a great hit with the kids. We'll call it like the fight the owner night in Milwaukee, and everyone can, because I know you just had a run-in with Mr. Zimmerman.
I did, and I think I'll save my comments from that for when we go over.
All right. So there's two elephants in the room here, and one is the smaller elephant than the big one. Are you looking for? There's no elephant under your desk.
I'm looking for the smaller one.
Oh, okay. That one might fit under your desk.
No.
We are, in case anyone doesn't know it, we are at the midpoint of the season for almost every team. As I look down the standings, St. Louis and Dallas have played 12 games. Chihuahua and Tacoma have only played 8 along with Harrisburg, but everyone else is in that 10, 11, 12 game.
For 11, yeah.
Area. Milwaukee has played 10. Well, Milwaukee's played 4, but it says 10 on here. Another story.
Right.
I wanted to go through. So, yeah, Susie says she feels lied to about elephants being in the room.
Wait, what was that?
Susie said she feels lied to about elephants being in the room.
Yeah, that's two things now that we're kind of. I mean, cake and elephants.
We could eat an elephant cake and make up for
I
both
want
of
a
them.
Utica City cake. That's my next thing.
With an elephant on top?
I can probably get one of those. Yeah, I can probably do that.
Little plastic little guys.
Yeah,
So
one of the little plastic things that you put in the. Yeah.
I wanted to go over some things that from a fan perspective. So we are fans. We are super fans, I guess. I don't really want to call myself that.
We are a Facebook group of fans of the league.
And I think what I want to do is go over the changes that the fans have seen in the league. So we have the big three came in. They had almost 6 months to stand up the season, and now we're halfway through the season. So what have we seen from the fan perspective? And I'm kind of going, I decided to go through like thinking of what things have come out. One of the first things was the weather sponsor. And I admit I have not gone out until this week to the AccuWeather site, clicked on it from the homepage. So I decided I would. So I click Get the Forecast from MASLsoccer.com, and I get the weather for Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, where it is currently 34 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing.
It's an accurate forecast.
I don't know how that helps me. There is no like automatic location thing that I can see on here. So I can go in here and I can type in, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or in my case, East Troy, and it gives me the weather for East Troy, and that's great. But then if I close it out, you can't see this, but if I close it out and I open it up again, it resets to Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. And I tried this from different devices in different like incognito browsers where there's no history and everything, and it comes up with Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. I don't know how that helps. That's certainly not going to be where I'm going to go for weather if it can't even figure out the city. And location-based services are a big thing and should be really easy to figure out. That's a fail in my book. We have a new weed sponsor. That's fantastic. We have a new ball, which I'm nicknaming Headshot.
That's I just, oh my God.
And we'll get into that.
Saw it again.
I had to go ask, I had to go ask Brian Farber, hey, what's the difference between the ball this year and last year? Because last year it was a big deal and it was talked about all over the place. And this year it wasn't even mentioned until the second or third game in. It's like, oh, there's a new ball. Why does it look like a 90s Jazz Cup? So there's that. And we'll talk about that.
It's apparently it's overinflated.
We'll talk about that, yeah, a little bit. A lot of things are overinflated in this league. I think I have a... anyway. Here's one that everyone knows is Bunswacker says it takes him back to his days as a child in Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, no, he says the site takes him to that. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, I thought that would have been an interesting fact about Bunswacker. He's from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania.
Eddie
Which
Bear
is probably
60.
near Puxatawney, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Eddie Bear 60 says, I told my sister we were playing Utica. She says Attica like in Dog Day Afternoon. Probably not. Probably not the same thing.
Close,
It's
but
close.
Attica is on the other side of the state. So.
And then Sharon said, I prefer hippo in the room. Hippos are mean. Like, hippos kill a lot of people a year. And that's
but
not
I
nice.
got to tell you, hippo had one of the funniest things. I don't know if you've watched this, but it's literally a hippo farting for like a minute.
With the tail.
And someone, with the tail going back and forth. And yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a clean fart either. So something that's new and near and dear to my heart is the broadcasts. I feel like the upper echelon broadcasts have gotten better. Oh, Emma's here. Hi, Emma. But are you still with us? Got this giant finger pointing at my head. Are you here? I can't hear. Matt's gone. Okay, bye, Matt. I guess I'll eat all the cake. So Matt did something that made his phone go away. I'll wait for him to come back. There he is. Don't do whatever you did. That was bad.
Well, that was so. As you know, it's a snowstorm where I am, and Hannah and Henry's school decided to call.
Oh,
So they have no school tomorrow.
are they even with you tonight?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, good for them.
Yeah, I know. It's either that or a phone call at 5:30 in the morning telling me that.
Yeah, I suppose 8 o'clock at night is better.
And with my new ringtone, it's just as annoying, but hilarious at the same time.
Is it kind of like this?
The great chilies. The
Yes,
great chilies.
it definitely has that.
Okay. So broadcast. So it feels like the upper echelon of broadcast, the KCs, Ontario's definitely made big strides. St. Louis has made huge strides, have gotten a little bit better, or in Ontario's case, a lot bit better. But it seems like the lower tier is getting worse somehow. Like I never thought Florida could actually get worse than what they were last season, and they're worse this season. And to me, this is going to come into my next topic. Your average sport, like, who are we trying to cater to with indoor soccer? Are we looking at hardcore indoor soccer fans who already know the game, or are we trying to bring on casual sports fans that may help grow the sport? And I think it's the latter.
Or the second one.
The second one. So an average sports fan, they're not going to look at a game and go, how come they keep passing back to the goalkeeper? That's really boring. They're going to say things like, why is the field so small? Why are all the seats empty? Or
Why does the turf look like a football field?
why does the ball bounce so much if it's supposed to be turf? Is that dirt under the floor? And that brings me to my next thing, the goalkeeper rule. The goalkeeper rule is not meant to bring more fans in. It is something that was a pet peeve of a certain person's back when he was coaching in the league, and something he wanted to change, and now he's in a position to change, so he changed it. So we went through through 24 games, we went through all the numbers, and the average goals per game was down over a goal and a half per game from the 2019-2020 season.
Right.
I do have updated numbers through 59 games, which doesn't include the thrashing that Ontario put on Utica, which probably would have skewed the numbers a little bit. It is up to 12.5 goals a game, which is still below where it was before they started screwing around with the goalkeeper rules. So
I think time of like the games have gone down as well. I think games are much quicker now.
Which is
case in point, I got to tell you that Utica San Diego game, that was quick. That was a quick game.
I think I can get some.
I can't say the same for the Ontario Utica game because it felt like I got there at like 6, and didn't get home until, well, back to the hotel until like 10 or something like that.
So just based on broadcast times alone, which in each YouTube broadcast, there's a long pregame for some teams and then a short for others, and then there's some post-game stuff depending on what the team is and what the thing is. The San Diego game broadcast was 2 hours and 10 minutes long. The Ontario was 2 hours and 43 minutes long because the pregame stuff was pretty long, and the post-game they went through the entire all of the goals scored. They went through 20 goal highlights.
Oh, wow.
Where are those two
So
savage?
you're looking, I mean, basically you're looking at about 2 hours ish.
And I know the comments have been made over the years that, well, we have to get the game under 2 hours because that's how we get on a TV broadcast. And it's like, well, you say that as if all other major sports are under 2 hours.
No, I think the aesthetics of the whole thing need to be worked on. I mean, graphics need to be crisper. Turf needs to. I got to tell you, the owner of Ontario before the game was out like picking up like loose pieces of like turf.
Nice.
And fixing the turf, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, that turf in Ontario looks great.
That's passion, that's dedication, and hats off to the owner of Ontario for doing that. But yeah, those things need to be looked at. Like, I understand we're trying to get the game around 2 hours, especially with a family. I mean, we want to get the kids excited and then send the kids home. And
yeah. Well, and here's the thing. If you want to get a broadcast for 2 hours, whatever station is going to run that is not going to play a live game. They're going to do a replay at some odd hour, and they can cut out the quarters and the halftime breaks, and it brings it down to 2 hours without doing anything else.
Right.
And then, like half the other sports out there, they'll just come back and go, both teams scored a couple of goals, and we left you at 2-1, and now it's 7-4, like they do for all the fringe sports. But so yeah, the new goalkeeper. We've talked about that. I just wanted to kind of bring that up. We'll continue to talk about it until the horse is not moving anymore, or not twitching. But next thing, the thing, and keep in mind the things for anyone new. And hey, Brandon, how's it going? The new, I'm talking about these things as what the fans have seen as far as changes or things in the league through halfway through the season. Definitely lower attendance, but I don't think that's a league issue. I think that's the situation we're in with COVID and everything in life, and I don't think there's anything anyone can do about that.
I think it's COVID, arena availability, and you kind of saw that Tuesday night in Ontario.
And we knew a Tuesday night game, and one of the Milwaukee games, there was a bunch of snow that was coming in or supposed to come in. I mean, there just standard stuff that happens. I don't blame.
Yeah. I mean, you and I had talked about it before the game. Like, I could sit and count the people that were across from me.
Right.
And it's a Tuesday, and then unfortunately for Ontario, that's pretty much going to be the norm going forward.
I think
now I'm going to be excited to see what Utica does Wednesday the 23rd.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's like during a winter break or what.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But those numbers are definitely going to be down. All teams are down right now.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean some teams aren't even reporting attendance, so it's been worrisome. But I don't think a couple of people have made the comment like, oh, now we can see what the normal is going to be, and we're back to the normal, so we can baseline attendance. I'm like, we can't baseline attendance. There's nothing.
You cannot. I mean, you can't. These numbers should have asterisks next to them. I mean, there's so many factors going into it.
I think everyone will know. I mean, there's obviously no attendance numbers for 2020 and 2021. They're going to look back and 10 years from now, when they find the archives and the rubble of what was left of our world after the plague has killed everyone.
It was, to be honest with you. So the restrictions in California are super, super tight. So not only did you have to wear a mask in the arena, you had to, before you even got in the door, you had to show a negative test or you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you out there in Ontario and San Diego, they do offer rapid tests on site. So if you're kind of hesitant in going to a game, they do offer that. I would imagine free of charge. Get a COVID test, boom, you can go to the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are ways around it. So if fans at those two arenas are kind of, I don't know, they do offer it. So,
And I mean, right now, unfortunately, San Diego and Ontario's attendance is so low that you can pretty much sit away from everyone else if you want to.
yeah.
So, good and bad news there. So, attendance, not going to dwell on it. I am going to dwell on the fact that teams are still lying about it, but whatever.
Ooh. So you've mentioned a few. I'd like to mention one, and I don't know if you have it on your list. Player safety.
I have not gotten to that yet.
But
I don't have it on my list, so why don't you go? Why don't you?
Okay. If it's on your list, we'll get to it.
No, it's not. It's not. So yeah, it's not on the list, so you can go.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Nope.
Player safety. I mean, we've seen this season a lot of people getting hurt, and it's not just. I mean, Paulo, before the season started, getting injured at a voluntary workout or whatever. But I mean, we've seen people getting hit in the head and boarded and a lot of concussion-esque type things, a lot of ACL tears, a lot of injuries in general. And I'm not using this as an excuse for Utica, but we've lost quite a few guys to a lot of those injuries. And where, I mean, I thought that the league was doing more with injuries above the head, which I did mention a couple weeks ago. Yelled it out. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. We were at the Wave game, and somebody took just a elbow or a flying arm to the face, and Matt stood up in a moment of passion and yelled, "He hit him above the head!" Or contact above the head.
Contact above the head. But I mean, I thought that was something the league was looking at. Meanwhile, you see a player on the ground for like longer than 15 seconds. Meanwhile, play continues.
Yeah.
You've got benches. You've got players going. You gonna blow a whistle? You gonna do something over here?
Well, and there's been many. Yeah, I do have a section for refs in general, and we might as well just.
Oh, good. So we can kind of. You want to just do that now?
We might as well just. Well, we'll take care of that right now because, yes, we will. I do have a couple smaller things to talk about, but then one big thing. So refs right now will be good. Yeah. It's been how do we even start?
Rough. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if someone is on the ground holding their head, there's something wrong.
Or if a ball hits a goalkeeper flat in the face and he goes immediately down to the ground, there's no question there what happened.
Or if a person gets tangled up and their ACL tears and they're on the ground and play keeps going and the refs just keep doing their thing. Like,
yeah, there's a difference. Or if a goalkeeper comes out and breaks a guy's leg.
Yeah.
Oh, so Gio just said something interesting. He said a player in the beginning of the season said that this goalkeeper rule is going to lead to more injuries. Coincidence or not? That is a really good point. And I didn't even think about that rule being the cause of this. I thought it was just shitty refs.
I think it's a combination of both, actually.
I want to talk about the whole thing in Ontario on last Wednesday. And you know what? What was the date last Wednesday?
It was the -4th.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. 27th?
Nope, that's the wrong date. What's
28th? 20 something?
It doesn't go back that far. Well, that's dumb.
What do you mean?
This little scrolly thing on the top of the screen that I always look at that you say I shouldn't look at. Scrolling. Wednesday, January 26th,
Yeah.
2022. San Diego at Ontario. Senior referee Kelly Mock. Referee Bubba Barnett. Assistant referee Joseph Salinas. Off-field official George Nowjame. And fourth official Robert Sarfaraz. There were so many problems with this ref crew. Kelly Mock is so slow he couldn't follow the action, so he basically just stayed at midfield and didn't run. And a couple times that he had to move up or down, he was so far behind the action, there's no way he could have made a call. This was the game where Pardo broke Spur's leg. Now, after the game, Pardo got a 2-game suspension, which we won't go off on too much of a tangent, but apparently saying some bad words on the internet, if your name is Derek Huffman, is the same as breaking a guy's leg. That was completely missed. That wasn't even called a foul at the time. In fact, I think San Diego got the ball back. That's the one where Toth got hit in the face with the ball. They didn't even stop it. Nordberg had a shit fit, and which is absolutely 100% understandable. They gave him a red card. They rescinded the goal that was scored because Toth was down, but they never rescinded the red card. And as a result, Nordberg was suspended for a game.
And it's funny you mentioned that because in the game, it was San Diego, Utica on Sunday. There was a goalkeeper pass back to the goalkeeper issue.
Yep.
But San Diego had touched the ball, and the refs were like, no, there was no thing. And, like, everyone was, like, telling the refs, like, yes, the ball was touched. Coughlin gets a yellow.
Yep.
And all sorts of penalties, whatever. Then the refs go over and they talk to the third and fourth official, and then it's like, oh, no, it's good. No, everything's fine. They rescinded those.
And the yellow card. They rescinded the yellow card.
They rescinded the yellow card. It was ball to Utica.
And I don't know if you watched that broadcast, but they did mention, Craig Ellison's like, oh, I wonder what Jimmy Nordberg's thinking about this right now. And they kind of just giggled and realized that it was probably not a good comment to make. And we'll get into the why in a little bit.
Yeah, the consistency in the league right now it's not good.
And so what happened? When I saw that, I made a comment somewhere in a post somewhere saying, if the league is serious about being a professional league, they should remove that ref crew from any future games. Allow them to figure out stuff on the off season, do remedial training or whatever, but get them off of games immediately. Because there's no call for that many missed problems. And we don't talk about refs. You and I don't talk about refs as affecting games. We understand that there's much more involved, but this is directly affecting player safety, and
100%.
2 big injuries were definitely a result of bad reffing. And there's no call for it. So Ontario released a press release that was posted in the box by either Philly or Jonathan, basically saying we demand something. And also this ball has injured a lot of goalkeepers and a lot of players. Something needs to be looked at from it. Now, I've heard a rumor, I haven't seen the actual thing, but I heard a rumor that head of officiating, Ryan Sigich, who, by the way, remember when we did, like, if I were commissioner, our little segments, and one of the first things I said, other than get Florida out of the league, was fire Ryan Sigich as head of refs because nothing is changing? And he may be a great ref and a great thing, but there's nothing changing. We need to get more consistency in, and we need to get better reffing in. His answer, he basically blamed the owners for not paying the refs enough money. Sure, I could see where maybe that could be a valid point, but what does that mean? We give you double the pay and all of a sudden the refs are better? Because we've seen the same refs year after year after year after year.
It's a way of life. Like, okay, I do my job. I make X amount. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I can do an even better job if you pay me twice as much. Like, I'm still going to go in and do my job to the best of my ability, whether it's X amount or 2X or what. Like, earn the pay.
Yep.
Don't make stupid. Now here we go. Language warning. Don't let a play go on for 30 fucking seconds with a guy down.
Right.
He's clearly hurt.
Right.
Like, the players can talk about it and be like, okay, well, we'll just kick it back and then we'll kick it and then we'll start play again.
I think
like,
what needs
it's stupid. And it happened. Ontario versus Utica. And Matt Sterling, if you're in the chat, what was the play that we all yelled at Brian Miller for? Like, the Utica bench was yelling. Matt and I were yelling. I forget what it was. Probably a player down and play kept going.
The play?
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, like, and it's funny, the reaction the refs are giving is like, now you guys need to stop. Well, you need to start fucking roughing.
Yes. Yes. And so what's happened in outdoor, and this, I don't think this is an answer. In outdoor, when players see a player down and it's obvious it's more than just a Neymar thing, one of the players will just kick it out of bounds. The problem is these days the refs are so bad, they're going to just play by the letter of the rules. So if somebody's, if I'm in my defensive half, I see someone down and I kick out of bounds, they're going to give the other team a top of the arc restart. And then tempers are going to get high if the other team doesn't just give it back or something. There needs to be a better way to handle that. And I get that you want to take every advantage you can on the field, but if there's a case where there's a player down and it's obviously more than a embellishment. And that brings me to another idea. There is a system in place for embellishment after the fact. And we hear from teams all the time, oh, this team flops and that team flops, yet there's not a single point given for embellishment warnings after the fact.
Okay. So, then, hey.
What?
Like, that screen just went away, and it was just me on the thing.
Oh. Is it back?
Yeah, it says on air and everything, but that was weird.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Oh, I don't know. But we're much clearer now. Well, oh, there it goes. All right, continue.
Do you want me to try the... Where is this here? Rainbow puke fix? Did that do anything? That didn't do anything. But, yeah, so it bothers me a lot. There's a lot of things that bother me about injuries. Now, granted, and I showed this, I got into a certain argument with a certain, or not really an argument, but a certain St. Louis former friend of the show last season where Stefan Mijatovic grabbed his face and ran down and dropped down to the ground. And they're like, well, let's talk about when he got hit in the face. So I did a slow motion close-up replay, and he got hit in the side and grabbed his face and went down.
I remember the play.
Now, what should happen? Oh, you do? What was it?
Yeah, it was when Kevin Blackwood got hit literally in the face, fell down, and had his hands over his face,
Yeah.
and they just kept playing. Ontario had the ball. They're going down the field. Meanwhile, he's still down, like just didn't move.
Yeah.
And everyone is like, players down, players down. You can tell he's hurt. Players down, and they don't, and they didn't do anything about it. Like he definitely wasn't embellishing. I'm sure there was blood
Yeah.
visible.
Well, and that's the thing. The argument to we can't just call every time a player's down because it could be faking is, well, if they're faking, there needs to be penalties. And right now there's no penalty for faking other than embellishment warning. If you do it again, we'll do nothing. That's all that happens right now. So start giving players cards, start fining them for embellishment, have someone review the games and go back. And if there's a case where a guy falls down and they call, they call place dead, give the guy a fine after the fact.
So I'm going to jump the gun just a touch, but let's find players that do that. Oh, and also we'll find teams that do good and they want to, I don't know, celebrate.
Well, but hang on to that thought for a second.
Goodness. I jumped the gun a little bit, but no.
So soccer, we have royalty in the chat room. Soccer Sam is here. Sam, we love you. I'm glad you're a fan of the show. We are a fan of yours. He says Ryan works really hard talking about Sigic. It's a super fast game and refs mistakes happen. Even in the NFL, I've watched every game. Yep, that Ontario San Diego crew missed a lot. The thing is, in the NFL, when refs make a mistake, they are held accountable. They are talked about, docked pay, reprimanded, taken off games.
Yeah, they just had an officiating crew. It was it Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, or something like that. That they did such a bad job that NFL's like, man, you're not going to be even remotely close to the Super Bowl this year.
Exactly. So, and I don't want to get into the argument of why we shouldn't compare our league to the NFL, but
I think, and I think my time out in California, I talked to a few people, and I think you're going to see hopefully better officiating going forward.
I would hope so. Something needs to be done, and that
Absolutely.
was one of my. I mean, that was one of my things. Like some things are getting better in the league, maybe, and some things are getting worse. And it seems like we talk about refereeing every year.
I tell you, one of my big things is player safety. Like that turf in Florida is not conducive to player safety. That thing is awful. You see
players come. You see the turf comes up, and then the refs don't stop the play when the turf comes up.
Or like a billboard sign goes down or something like that. But it's about the players. They're putting their bodies on the line for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got everyone's back. Like each and every player's back. Like we want them to do their best and afterwards have a beer and talk shop. And
even John Sosa and Sam Guernsey. I said it.
One of them, yes. So I just think that maybe next year, or I don't think anything's going to happen this year, but next year there needs to be like some sort of committee. I don't know. They need more committees.
Well, let's put it this way: the league seems to be more focused on social media posts than they do about the actual game. And an example of this, and I'm not going to name any names, but a certain referee was fired last year and left completely off the schedule this year for a one-line comment with no negative language in it made last season. And you got refs missing broken legs on the field who are still going to be reffing. You're not in the good old boys club. you're not getting preferential treatment, and there's too much of the good old boys club going on.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. I said it a couple weeks ago. One of those missed calls directly impacted the outcome of a game.
Yep. Who's Bunswacker said a while ago about, and a number of people have said this to me, and I've seen it. A lot of goalkeepers are getting injured this year, and I think it might be the ball. Overinflated, too heavy, whatever happens to be.
Could it be? What's the?
It's not this.
Slippery balls.
That is correct.
I don't have a word for overinflated balls. I do have this.
Well,
Overtime.
So I was having lunch with Philly Panda, Jonathan Reimer, Coach Norberg, and as we were leaving, I go, Jonathan, are you gonna be mentioning? This is when everything was out, that the owner of the Fury put out that statement, and it was about the balls being overinflated. I go, now are you going to mention that on the broadcast tonight? And he looks at me and he's like, I don't know if I should. And Philly's like, no, you're not.
I do have a question. Can you guys hear my audio okay? There might have been a little echoing going on, but now, does it sound okay? Does it cut out at all? Matt, it probably doesn't matter to you as much as it does to the people in the chat. Because last week, or 2 weeks ago when you were here, I made some changes so that we could, because it was cutting out. I want to make sure it's not cutting out. Okay, audio's perfect. Cool.
Are you sure? Okay, good. I'm proud of you. I mean, last week or 2 weeks ago, we spent, 30 minutes just talking into a microphone that wasn't even picking anything up.
It wasn't quite 30 minutes. I
rounded up.
Okay, so there was an echo. It was actually on my end, John. It was Matt's voice coming through my mic going back, and I just fixed that. I had a feeling that might have been going on. What I feel like I can do right now is
Michael Jordan lo hizo. I believe I can fly.
So Adam and I are watching this game, and the Chihuahua broadcast, it's special.
We'll get into the broadcast itself, but the Chihuahua broadcast is, let's go back a number of years when the two leagues first merged, and there was, for my personal indoor soccer fan career, when it started, it was the first Spanish-speaking teams that I've seen, or Spanish-speaking broadcasts that I've seen in the league. It was Monterrey and it was Solis de Sonora.
Right.
And those announcers were amazing because I didn't understand really anything that was going on, but the level of energy and like, holy crap, how many words can you get in a minute without taking a breath? Because it was just the energy level. And these guys in Chihuahua have the energy level. Now there's a whole bunch of technical issues going on there, but the overall energy level,
that energy level and the things they came up with, Adam and I are just like staring at each other going, what?
It's the Mexican Joey Zanaboni is what it is.
Yeah, like overtime, Michael Jordan, I believe I can fly. It's the Craig Chili's.
So I want to preview something. I have a new, Matt, you haven't even seen this yet. I created a new little segment for us, and I just want to preview it. I don't know how we're going to use it in the show, but
Overtime.
And we're back.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Now, unfortunately, they didn't make it through overtime in that game. That was one of the ones against San Diego.
Yeah, but they got a lot of points from their overtime.
But that was good. The other sound clip I got this week was the goal we were talking about before, the Everton to Pablo goal. This features San Diego's Nate Eberea with you just got to hear it.
He scored.
So that was
Oh God, it's just. But we have to admit that no one can ever top Mario Alvarez from Turlock.
No, not a chance. In fact, I haven't seen a Turlock. Oh, so Adam G and John Bursa set a time limit or like the 2-hour mark on our show, and we'll go into overtime. All right, we'll do that. That'll be overtime. We're going in overtime tonight because we're an hour in. And
well, let's hope it's only one overtime. I don't know if I can do a double overtime.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's 5 a.m. overtime. So I think we beat the horse to death on the refs. Something has to change. Something has to change. We aren't seeing it. We need to see it. We need to see something. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, if I were commissioner, I know what I would do. So there was I don't know if I mentioned this on the show before. I used to watch hockey a lot back in like the mid 90s. And I can't even remember what team it was. Carolina Panthers, maybe? No, that's a football team.
No, it's football.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
I think it might have been them, but it was a press conference, and the GM or the owner was like, well, in the days of free agency and player contracts and things, I can't just fire all the players, so I have to do what I can do, and I have to fire the coach and let him go. And I think we're to the point now where I think there needs to be a replacement just to get fresh blood in for head of referees. And I think that needs to happen.
You know, I think, and I don't know if this happens with the referees, but do you remember, I don't know if it was a couple years ago, 3 years ago, when Ryan Sigich did like 3 of those, like, what would you do type things?
Those were cool. I really liked those.
Yeah. Does he do that with his referees? Like, okay, here's a situation. What would you do?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you think all of the referees would give the same answer?
No, not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
That right there leads me to believe that there's no consistency.
Right.
If I've got 5 refs saying, oh, choice A, 6 refs, choice B, you need every ref to say, oh, that's choice A, 100%.
So Bunswacker hasn't needed.
Everyone is on the same page.
Wait, I don't know. It's Bunswacker, but he spelled it wrong. He spelled it like Bushwhacker, so I don't know what that means. He says the mascot should have red cards and give them to the refs. Could you imagine a mascot pulling out a red card like this? We need that. So we have a couple new people, James Kowalczyk, Eric Lewitz, both in the chat. Alec just showed up in the chat, and we have Lara Andrew, who wants everyone to go to sister19lol.online. And we will remove that comment.
So this is like the most people we've had in a while.
We've had over 40 active at one time concurrently. But
I honestly, and I'll say it again, thank you to Jonathan Reimer and Philly and Panda for having me on to promote the show.
I will preemptively say right now, the best broadcast of the week will be Ontario. And I might be saying that just because John said I needed to.
Wait, so are you doing your rankings now?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
And John Brewer has it right. He's like, everyone's waiting for the rule discussion. We're getting there. So let's
there's a lot of things that are leading up to the meat and potatoes of the whole.
As soon as the elephant barges through the door.
Yeah.
So so back to my list, and for those of you who are new, doing a list of what the fans have seen change based on the new leadership halfway through the season. There is no news on sports betting. That was a big thing that was announced. We were going to have sports betting. We're going to be able to bet on games, and then nothing. Not a single word at all from the league. And we haven't heard anything at all. And speaking of that, there's no regular info from the league office to the fans about anything they're working on. Every interview that we hear is the same things. We want to improve things by 25%. We did this plate test and goalkeeper rule, and we want to blah, 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 blah. And we've gotten big names looking at us and people calling me up and saying, how can I help? Okay, great. what's going on. What would be really cool is a monthly update of a couple paragraphs, just saying, here's the things we're working on, guys. We want to communicate with the fans. Even if there's really nothing to report, and this is where, a certain owner of the Bushwhacker says, sorry, he says, I spelled my name right because I know how to spell, unlike the Heat and the Sidekicks. That's fired.
Oh boy.
But here's where Mike Zimmerman and I kind of got into it, of where he said there's no reason to communicate with the fans if there's no news. There has to be something you're working on as commissioner of the league. And if there isn't, that's a problem. But at least tell the fans, hey, we've been working on this. We expect it to take at least 6 months. So don't expect to hear anything on this for another 6 months. Instead, we get all hyped up. Oh, we're going to get sports betting. We're going to get this awesome, weather site that doesn't work, and then nothing else. So that's that. MASL Primetime is back. For me, I feel it's not quite as valuable as it has been in the past, and that's because I watch all the games. So I've already seen the highlights of all the things that they're going to have on there, and I kind of know what's going to go on there. Their interviews of players are only like 2 minutes long, so it's still it's a well put together show with great graphics. One thing I'd like to not see is when I'm watching a game, because I do watch all the games, or I try to, I don't want to see the same 10-minute clip of MASL Primetime during every show's halftime. It's like I've already seen it 4 times in one day. That means I'm just going to not pay attention to halftime anymore. Now, granted, I don't think there's a lot of fans that watch all the games, but you're not even seeing the whole show.
Right.
So there's that. MSL Midweek is fun. Michelle Gingras has a really good personality and really can engage her interviews. Some of them been as short as like 15 minutes. Some of them, the Danny Waltman one that came out yesterday was a half an hour. I think
I can't wait to watch that one. I mean, we all know Danny, and he's just a character. So,
and she didn't keep it to soccer. She talked about his early career. She talked about it. She asked about his music. I think she surprised him with a couple of questions that he wasn't really expecting because they weren't soccer related. And that was really cool. Get to know someone on a more of, why do you do the backflips, and how do you get your hair so curly? And just the standard stuff.
What's your favorite moonshine?
Yeah, right. The coaching convention. I had a theory that the league was putting so much into this coaching convention they weren't doing anything else. And the only thing that came out of it, which was the big giant announcement that was announced 4 times before they made the big surprise announcement that everyone knew about at the game in the T-Mobile Center, was they're having a college draft. And this kind of ties into your comment about Paulo earlier on. How do you present a college draft for an indoor team to a college graduate who's good enough at soccer to go play pro? Hey, we got this great team for you. You can get paid $200 a game. You got to go with practices on your own. And if you get hurt at one of those practices, fuck off. You got to pay for your own surgery. I mean, isn't that a sales pitch? I think they got to work on that. Oh, by the way,
I think for the sales pitch, you got to throw in some bar graphs and some pie charts and kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. But yeah, I think you're not going to see a college draft. You're not going to see a top tier player wanting to play for Utica City. You're going to see them go to probably a developmental academy in the MLS or something like that, or even play in the MLS.
Now, I think the idea of the draft is great.
Yeah, the idea of the draft is great, and I can't wait to see what happens. I
just hope when they get turned on by the first 50 players that get drafted, they don't just abandon the idea.
Yeah. Did they announce their attendance numbers for that game?
They did, but Alec just said you could lure the college kids in with a new weed sponsorship. So Nate White has a good point. He says, I like the draft. You're looking at NAIA, that's hard to say, and D3 players presented with an opportunity to play. I like that for that idea. And maybe it'll move up to the fact where the point where top tier players are gonna consider this league. We're many years off it, but you got to start somewhere with it. I just think somebody made a comment to me today, and I'm not going to name names or anything. A person they know is in the league, and he's a lower paid player, and they said, well, I sure hope he doesn't go out on the field for a goal celebration because the first fine would eat up his paycheck for a month playing for that team.
Well,
first fine is $250.
The first one is a warning.
Well, second fine, the actual fine is $250. Granted, it says team fine, and we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we're not quite there
yet. Yeah, I teased it. You're teasing it. So yeah.
Not quite there yet. Yeah, Ian Bennett is a good example of where the college draft would have worked really well for him. And LeSharon said it's good for the local talent that may not be MLS level players. I agree. But I know there's a lot of competition between USL and indoor. So
I don't agree because it's LeSharon that said it. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm speaking of the MASL midweek, one of the things in the Waltman interview he said was this seems to be an older league where players are able to play well into their late 30s and 40s, as we're seeing this year, or have a comeback into their 40s. And by the way, when you're not, no, yeah. Does that mean you're going to play, or? And of course, the joke that we have is, when is Doug Miller signing with Utica?
It's only a matter of time, I think.
Could be. We're gonna. Yeah, James, you're right. We're gonna need overtime today. So I have a couple. I have one big one right at the end of this whole list. This is going to be my personal complaint, Eric. I know you're out there going to watch this, or you are watching now. I missed half of the KC game because they put the wrong time on the website. So if one of the things that the announcers have to do during the games is announce, please go to maslsoccer.com for all your updated news, get the game times right.
Don't update it with correct information.
Wrong game time out. And they used to have the local time zone, and they seem to have changed that all to Eastern time, but then this one showed up as Central. So I'm like, oh, good, I got another hour, only to turn it on, and it's a minute before halftime. And I missed me getting a shout out in the beginning of the game, which made me cry myself just now.
Okay. No, you're right.
And what the fuck is up with the Baltimore missed games? I mean, I know what's happening with them. I am not at liberty to say, but like, what's going on? Nothing from the league. The league is further investigating 2 Facebook posts which were deleted a month and a half ago. Yeah, fuck that. That's bullshit.
Yes.
Should I just put that as a... I do.
Might as well just put that next to the cake. Like shrink it down and put it. Yes,
I'll put it on
right
my side.
Yeah.
All right.
Whoever swears more, that's the side it goes.
We'll move it over depending on.
Well, it's going to be on your side the rest of the. Well, I don't know.
Can I do a? Oh, no, you can have one.
Oh, thanks.
All right, there we go. Sorry. It's funny you said that, Eddie. So at the same time that I looked over, my Google Home had lit up like it was expecting to say something. So Google's going to tell me I'm using bad language. All right. So we're to the big one. The big change, or the what has changed in the midseason with the new ownership that is visible to the fans. Are you going to guess what I'm going to say? The visa issue.
Lack of concessions.
Oh, yeah. Lack of corn dogs in the concessions is one, but the visa issue. The visa issue has gotten worse. It has not gotten better. It has not stayed the same. It has gotten worse.
Yep. But apparently,
and I knew you're going with this.
Apparently, yesterday there was a trade between Utica and Florida. Utica sending Ricardo Diegues and Alan Ventura to Florida for Andrew Hoxie and Lucio Gonzaga. And apparently, Ricardo Diegues is magically playing on the 13th.
He will be ready.
Meanwhile, their top goalie, Hugo Silva, is inactive due to visa issues.
Right.
What the fuck? Has Ricardo Diegues been just put by the wayside for months because of visa issues? Like, I don't think he's magically going to play. I don't think the visa fairy is just going to show up and go, ding, you can play.
Oh, the visa fairy. Wait, we need this for the visa from the visa fairy. 20.
Yeah.
It's
just I don't get it. Like the number of, like, Hugo Silva made it half the season, and then they're like, oh no.
So CT's.
And meanwhile, Darren Toby, who's been in the league for 10 years, doesn't even play this year because of visa issues. It makes no sense.
And like Silva, Dan Shamali for the Wave played 2 games. Unfortunately, got injured with a season-ending Achilles injury, and then got his visa revoked. And I don't understand why. So CT says, are the visa issues related to ownership, though? Yes and no. Now, the owners do not have I'm assuming you mean league ownership and not team ownership. The team owners can only do so much. But the league, we asked Commissioner Tozer when he was on the show before the season started, what is going on with the visa issues? What are you doing to fix it? And he said they have 2 dedicated immigration lawyers. They're working through getting letters written, letters of recommendation from top places. And what turns out is immigration doesn't see this league as a professional league. They see things like really shitty broadcasts, people playing in barns and rec centers, and like teams, and this is, I think all teams are guilty of this. They're having open tryouts. Did Dave just send something funny? What
Crowded theater.
Okay.
Oh, we got to go.
We're at the, yeah, right. What am I saying?
Well, you were talking about how this league isn't important enough. Then
open try.
If Neymar wanted to play in MLS or something, it would go right to the top. And
right, and it's teams that have open tryouts that people can make the top league. The immigration doesn't see that as a professional league. Because if you can have somebody walk off the street with no prior MASL experience and make the top team, they're saying there should be a farm system in place, which we supposedly have.
We do.
Well, sure we do.
I can tell you a certain team has picked three people off of another team.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin was complaining about that before. But what sucks, though, is Cape says so bad for all the players who are affected by this craziness. Yes, because we have players who have made lives here. I'm going to bring up Josh Lemos. I heard a rumor that doesn't get his visa was denied. Not 100% confirmed, but it doesn't look good. He was here for a year contract. He got a visa extended for another 3, and then he signed a 5-year contract with the Wave. He has a 5-year job. He has his own goalkeeper school going. He and his wife and their kids are established here, and they have a baby on the way, and immigration's like, nope, you got to move out of the country now with like a month notice. And now he can't come back, even though he has a contract, he has a job lined up, he has everything.
Yeah, it's a bunch of governmental bullshit, in my opinion. And I mean, a lot of these players have played in the league for multiple seasons with no issues, and now all of a sudden it's this magical issue that apparently one person is getting fixed just out of the blue, just hey, yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
we're gonna promote him as playing.
Well, and there's, I know there's a lot of different ways. I don't understand all of the. Hey, Philly, how's it going, man?
Hey, Philly.
Philly's in the house. I know there's a lot of different nuances to all of these things. I've read up on it a mediocre amount. Mediocre? Whatever. Done a little bit of research on it. And I have a friend who married a Canadian woman and got her into the U.S. And it was a long process. It took 2 or 3 years for that to happen. I know that there are some players that when they get extended, it's an easier process versus getting a new one because there's like a limitation on the number of years for a visa. I know there's a expedited process that can speed things up, but it also sounds like that has a higher rate of getting denied, so teams don't want to do that. I know, like in the case of, hey, Ronnie's here too. He's just been listening. Well, that's good. We had 45. It's right now. There's 45 viewers, and if we had 45 people typing at the same time, I wouldn't be able to keep up. So I don't get what I don't get the change. And as I mentioned a couple shows ago, they were starting to go after like pro pool players who play in these tournaments that go around the world, and now they're banned from entering the U.S. because for 5 years because they were playing here illegally without really a valid visa, or they're here on like a visitor's visa and they happen to make money in like a side game and they consider that income, and it's just
yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's hampering our sport. I mean, you could field a really, really good team with all of the players that are out due to visa issues.
Yeah, and I know one of the answers is, well, you should be sponsoring and promoting local talent. Well, that's great, but the international players bring a special flair.
Yeah,
and a special.
I personally, I miss Darren Toby on the field. I miss Ricardo Diegues on the field. Like, these are guys that we've watched over the years.
Oh yeah,
and they've been amazing for our teams. Like Josh Lemos. I mean, Daniel Shamali.
Even
Chino.
go back to
all of these guys. I mean, we've watched, and we know what they can do, and their talents are just.
The Sharon wants to know how many guys she needs to marry to get him into the league.
Well, you're gonna have to move to like Utah, don't you?
Yeah, right. CT
Sharon,
just
I don't think
said
you're gonna want to move to Utah. There's no Utah Fury.
Yeah, right. Yeah, CT says, I assume they were talking Diegues for next season. I didn't realize any of the visa players would have clearance to play for the remainder of the season. Florida announced they expect him to be available at the next game, which is what, the 12th or 13th or whatever.
13th, yep.
And that was in their press release. Now, chances are that's just made up nonsense, but they're saying it.
I mean, their press releases are kind of, anyways. Remember when they, even before the league announced that they were Eastern champions, they decided to put out some sort of.
Oh, they've spelled champions wrong, or Eastern, or they spelled something wrong. Yeah. Something.
So I wouldn't, the Ricardo Diegues thing, I really wouldn't put a lot of stock into. I really don't think there has been no player with a visa issue that's had it approved. None.
There was Rian Marquez and Lucas Sousa, but I don't know if those were extensions on current visas. That's what I'm wondering if they are. That was I think they might be extensions on existing visas, and that's why they were able to get in. Plus, I know Lucas went. I think they both went local college.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eric's Park University. I'll have to do that.
What is Kovaleski sending? Because I can't look at the.
He sent a picture of you and me with weird looks on our faces with a red background, and it says MASL visa issues new legal team.
Like I said, I could probably show the immigration folks some bar graphs, some pie charts, and be like, this is why you need to bring them back.
And yeah, I don't know what's going on. I know that I have coworkers that have had to move back to India, and then got their way to Canada and won't be able to come back for at least a year. Ronnie wants to. Did Diegues play for Florida before?
Yes.
They went Florida, Utica, back to Florida.
Yeah, Florida Utica back to Florida. Dieguez had the record for most goals scored in Florida Tropics history, which was, now it's Victor Pereira's. So he is now second all time.
So, Bunswacker, so if you close the browser and then go back in after you do that, does it still stay at your location or does it reset it? Weather app talk.
Oh, okay.
So that's the big thing. I think that's kind of ruining the sport right now because
it would be, you're right. It would be kind of cool to have like Keith Tozer, like go maybe have Michelle Gingras do an interview with him, like state of the MASL,
and not just repeat the same things.
Have a forum. Have fans send in questions, and she goes through and says, "Okay, what's the visa issue like? What's going on with that?" And get answers. Like the fans want answers right now.
Yeah. And we have 51 viewers concurrently.
Woo!
All right. It is the.
Wait. So for those 51 viewers, I think you know where I'm going with this. If you haven't already, you probably should have done it already. But we're going to show you the most important thing.
And what you need to do is pay attention. This is going to come up on the screen really, really small.
It's really tiny. So just, if you need us to do it again, let us know.
So do this. Ta-da. I was going to put the little hand in there, but that was a lot of work.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I think people will.
Yeah.
Will hopefully do that.
It is the top of the hour. We are going into the rules next. We're going to take a quick timeout here to remove some water from our systems. And we will be right back after these short messages.
Short. Very.
Now would be a great time for a timeout.
Now, back to them.
Over there.
And now, back to them.
Back to them.
Back to them. That was fun. Oh, what do we got? These are they have. So the visas aren't, I mean, they're expensive per player, but they're not. Oh, they're making jokes about, okay, never mind. Cliff, what should we chat about while I pee? We can talk about both of them behind their back. And no one took you up on that offer. I'm kind of disappointed. I do need to show one thing off, and I promised Scotty and Aaron Bennett I would show you my purple base. This is my purple base. I'm gonna show it without it reflecting everything. So that's my purple base that I bought. It looks really cool, and it's purple, and you can see my monitor and stuff. So, all right, that's that. You got cheeseburger?
Whopper. Yeah.
So we've talked about fast food a couple times. We don't go to fast food very often. Tonight we're behind on our grocery shopping. We had a family emergency. Everyone give please well wishes to my mother-in-law, my wife Tara's mom. She had a fall earlier this week. She's in the hospital with a brain bleed. Hopefully not too severe. Hopefully it's healing. She's doing better. She was transferred out of ICU today into a regular room, so that's good news. Maybe that was yesterday. So during the whole week we haven't done shopping. So tonight we go to McDonald's drive-thru because it's the closest thing, and it was like 6 o'clock already. I look over the menu, and my 21-year-old is like, land, air, and sea. What the hell? And I look over. You can take McDonald's menu and have them make things. And they have this thing called the Land, the Air, and the Sea, which is a Big Mac with a McChicken patty and a fillet of fish patty on it. Like, why would you do that? Why would you? Derek, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you,
Is that their
Cliff.
version of like a turducken or something?
I think so. It's a Big Mac stuffed into a McChicken stuffed into a fillet of fish.
Great.
Yeah, that sounds disgusting.
Sounds low-cal.
I would try it.
I probably would too.
I would try it. Okay.
Not gonna lie.
So, do we have anything else to talk about, or is that pretty much it?
No. I think onto the reason why some of you are here.
Oh, that's right. We forgot to go over the broadcast stuff. Oh, I have a trivia question. We're getting there. This is absolutely the next thing that's coming. We're going to talk about this rule thing that happened and my page and a half of notes on it. But trivia time. And everyone type in the chat, and then Matt, I'll let you answer. What is the point of the arc at the top of the box in indoor soccer? Not the old 3-point arc. Right now you have your box that's here, and then you have the arc and the dot on top. What's the point of the arc? What purpose does that serve?
Wait. Maybe I'm not understanding. Oh, Dave Kovaleski needs to. No. I mean, they probably did, but no.
Dave, just for those of you who don't know, Dave just messaged us and said Ontario just scored 3 times, but when you guys took a break.
So I might. So as you're typing, whatever. Fun fact. Once I got on the air, once I got up to the booth in Ontario until the end of the game, Ontario scored. It was a 10-1 score. Ontario.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Ronnie wants to know, Matt, you never answered me about your record when attending away games.
You know, I can tell you, bookend 0-4. When I went out to Florida, they lost twice. Well, it was Syracuse. Now, are you talking Syracuse Utica or just Utica?
Let's go with just Utica.
Okay. So let's review. Ontario, San Diego, 0-2. Dallas, Mesquite, win-win. St. Louis. Did I go up there for St. Louis?
You were in St. Louis, but you didn't come to Milwaukee, I think.
I think it's like 3-3.
Okay,
like
so
500.
LeSharon needs an illustration. I don't have. There's no way to draw on the screen with this. So let's say we have our goalie box, which is a square. Oh, look, hey, we have an on screen. We are all sorts of technical. We're all sorts of technical here.
Hang on.
Maybe not. Your root beer bottle looks like it's about to tip over, but I think that's just the way the phone
So
looks.
I really don't understand your question either. So
Okay. All right.
you're gonna have to like explain it to me as well.
Trivia time.
Okay. So what am I drawing?
Okay, so draw the goalkeeper box, which is just a square. And then draw the, so we have can't see, there we go. Then draw the arc.
Now wait. Now some arenas have
From point to point.
like a 3-point arc
No.
or just an arc in general?
Just the top of the box arc. And then put a dot. Oh, you're not. That looks maybe not like what it's supposed to look like. What is the point of the arc, the area in the arc? Why is the arc there? That's the question I'm asking.
That?
Yes. What is the point of that?
I'm gonna erase this before anything really.
Why don't we erase that? I just had the explicit language warning. I do not have the.
Yeah, we don't really have a. I mean, that kind of gets a little risque.
Thank you, Mr. Madden.
Yeah, but,
So. Yeah, explicit photo tags needed. So Matt, what is your answer now that you just took a big bite of your burger?
what is my answer? Why is that there? Honestly, I don't know.
James says for looks. Alex says it used to be part of the goalkeeper's box, but I'm not sure why now. James again says for PK shots. Adam G says goalkeeper can't go on past on penalty kicks. Bushwhacker says for penalty shots. And LeSharon says have no idea. The closest two answers are LeSharon and Alex.
I would say, well, I do have a guess. I would say that line at the top of the thing is the correct distance from the top of the arc to, you know how it's supposed to be like 15 feet or 5 feet or whatever. I think that's a good distance between, it's the legal distance for like top of the arc restarts.
So the real answer is what Alex said. It used to be part of the goalkeeper's box because the goalkeepers go all the way up to the top of that arc with the ball, but now it serves no purpose. The dot is there for the top of the arc restarts. Like in Ontario, you'll notice there's no arc painted on. Or if there is, it's so faint you can't make it on the broadcast. There's my trivia question of the week. Wow. Stay tuned till trivia for next week, which I don't even know if we'll have one or not. Now,
the more you know.
The more you know. Now, and wait.
Now, back to them.
Okay, we're back. How do we start this? We have two distinct things we need to talk about. One, we need to talk about the rules that were released to the team on Tuesday. And two, we need to talk about all the things that happened in the box in the last 2 days.
Well, I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Do we want to talk about the specific rules first, or do we want to talk about how they showed up first?
I think how they showed up first, and then the rules in general.
All right. There was an obviously fake account named Keith Tozer, who is the commiff of the league. It was obviously fake account. It was flagged as being not allowed in the group. On a possibly bad decision on my part, I decided to allow the account in. And then the account posted the rule sheet that I posted a couple hours ago on In the Box. Jared says hashtag free Keith. The account was obviously fake. It was not a real person. It was not me. It was not Matt. It was not anyone associated within the box. I do not know who it is under penalty of perjury or something. I will not say who it is if asked. If whoever it was wants to say who it was, then they'll say who it was, but for now we're not saying who it was or who it is. And then I went off. I saw the post. I saw a couple other funny comments. And then I went off to go play pool because I have pool leagues on Wednesday nights. And my phone went every couple seconds for 3 hours straight. And I think, Matt, you can take it from here.
Yeah, give me a second.
Hashtag we are Keefe.
So I will take it exactly where Adam left off. So I'm on the plane. Our flight was delayed from Dallas to Syracuse last night, and I'm kind of noticing. I heard there was a fake profile that was in the box, and I noticed not only the rules, but kind of a blurb like, how am I doing as commissioner, blah, blah, blah. I felt, and I didn't delete the post because of the post itself. It seemed like there was a great discussion, great debate on the rules, which is fine. I am fine with that. When I started in the box 2 years ago, that's one of the things we want to promote. We want to have nice debates about the rules and this, that, and the other thing. So I deleted the post based off of the username, the picture that was put in there, mocking the commissioner. I think that line was crossed, which is why I deleted the post entirely. Now, I don't know if there's a way to just delete the person and leave the post up. I just hit delete post and block user. To which people out there started going off on me personally. And highly uncalled for. I want this league to grow. We all want this league to be great. Making a mockery of the commissioner, I understand the rules are kind of out there, and we're going to talk about the rules. But making a mockery of it is on a whole nother level. Calling me a sellout is on a whole nother level. Calling me a spineless human being is on a whole nother level. Something I'm not going to tolerate. If you look behind me, this is what I'm representing. I'm representing the league. Okay? I'm promoting the league. And if people out there think that 90% of the posts in the box are negative, go somewhere else. That's not what this is for. We want the league to grow. We know there's issues with the rules. We can debate on how to fix them. But we don't need to sit there and I don't know if using bullying tactics. Like saying how I'm a sellout and this, that, and the other thing, and how I'm afraid of not getting a press pass. I don't care if I get a press pass or not. I want people to watch this sport. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that if, in fact, Keith Tozer looks at this page, well, what is this? Why are they letting this happen?
So there was a comment, and so I like most things in life, I at least understand, even if I don't agree with both sides of things here. There was a comment made which I wanted to address, saying that In the Box is basically kind of started out based on a mockery of a certain person and a corn dog. Yes, that was true. But that was a symbol that was bringing fans together. Now, maybe the way it brought fans together was mocking a certain person, but overall, the whole corn dog thing blew up, and it was like a symbol of bringing fans and people together. I think it's much different than what was done there. I thought the Keith thing was funny. I didn't see any of the debate because when the post was taken on, I didn't see any of the comments or anything like that. I think debating the rules is 100% what we want. Like, we don't want to restrict that kind of comments. And I saw comments about, oh, we're just like off the wall because we're censoring content, and I don't agree with that at all either. I think if someone came in and said, I'm Mott Hubber, and posted you in a clown nose and was making comments about you, that wouldn't be allowed either. I think that's where it was. I like that Mott Hubber. I'm going to use that some. Mott Haber from On the Barks. Oh no, it was Marty. It was Marty. That's right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was Marty. That was Marty.
So that's the comment on there. There was another comment, and I wanted to really make a comment about this. And I'll call him out by name. Jason, we love you. I know you're probably not watching. I know Emma's gonna tell you about this if she's still watching. There was a comment made saying, well, that's a really good tactic to get people to your YouTube channel, delete the post, and then go on YouTube and talk about it. I think people don't really understand what In the Box is, what we get from it. I think people see a group and see, oh, you have a lot of followers, you must be doing well for yourselves. Like, the amount of money we made so far is in the negatives from In the Box. Like, we've put hundreds of dollars of our own money into things like a camera, a microphone, which, granted, I'm using this for other things, but the graphic work, the hours of putting these weird little videos together. Geo spent like almost all of his open time doing videos and graphics and things that you notice are not there anymore, like the corn dog moments and the Wallace Score Wednesdays and things like that, just because we don't have time. In order to monetize a YouTube channel to have ads, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to monetize your channel. As of earlier today, we had 170 subscribers. Hopefully that went up a couple, and 2,100 watch hours. So we've had the YouTube channel for a year?
Yep.
And we have 170 subscribers. We're nowhere near close to being able to monetize. Even if we could, 90% of the stuff that's on the YouTube channel, or 95%, are these live shows, which aren't going to have ads in them anyway, because we're in the middle of live. They don't put ads in the middle of live shows. Now they'll put them in afterwards of people watching them, but the amount of money and the amount of viewers we would get on it would be, I don't know, $15 a month maybe. I mean, it wouldn't even be worth it to bother.
It's not. And I don't look at it from a monetary perspective. Like,
not at all.
I don't make anything. I mean, but I'm not, and that's something I thought that comment was kind of off-putting. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I deleted it. Find out what happened tonight on In the Box. Like, if anyone has any issues with anything about the channel, I don't care what it is. Contact me on Facebook. If you have an issue, oh, well, this person said this, or why did you take that down, or anything, just message me. So last night, I deleted the post, okay? Next thing I know, I landed in Syracuse, drove right home. And that's when everything just started blowing up and getting called these names and things like that. And I really didn't have time to just be like, okay, here's what happened, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. I went to bed. Like, I didn't have time to. I did kind of comment a little bit back and forth between this person and myself. But I didn't really write down an explanation.
No. Yeah, Alex says, I wish YouTube was as lucrative as some people think it is. Last time I heard, if you have a video with 1 million views, it's worth about $1,200. Well, think about, like, our biggest viewed video has like 900 views on it, and it was a 30-second Ian Bennett goal. You okay over there?
Yeah, fine.
My channel, my personal music channel, I have a channel which I do humor and music and mixing and all those bases behind me and stuff. I have not hit 1,000 subscribers yet, so I haven't monetized it. My biggest, I think I have about 3,500 views on one video. Haven't seen a single cent. Capes13 says, channel is monetized, grandfathered in. The account has 6 cents in 15 years. And yeah, and if your video is under 10 minutes, it's even worse. I have a friend of mine who kind of specializes in like 5 to 7 minute videos, and he grew to 4,000 subscribers in a year, but he's making $18 a month, something like that, and it doesn't even pay for itself for what the time he puts in. So I was concerned at the thought of that we're in this for the money, or we're doing this for anything other than talking about the sport that we love.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
talking to each other.
We're not doing this, and I'm just going to say this, and Adam, I'm sure you're going to agree. We're not creating controversy for clicks and views. We're not.
Man sticks fork in outlet. What happens next is shocking.
I didn't realize we were done with the show. I thought we had other things to talk about.
Oh, I got a doozy when that time comes.
Oh no. Let's.
It has to be done this week. It has to.
So, okay, it'll be done this week, but wait until 3 hours from now when we're done.
By the way, one of the things that I complained about in broadcast that doesn't have, that don't have a scoreboard on, is they don't update the people with the time as often. I want to just say there is just over 5 minutes left in regulation here on In the Box tonight.
Oh, okay.
So,
and Ontario has probably scored 7 more goals since then. But yeah, there's a thin line, I think, between debating and then just mockery, just complete and utter mockery. First year in the league, and I'm sure behind the scenes they're making strides that we don't know about. It'd be nice if he told us. Exactly. But don't mock the guy. I have the utmost respect for Keith, and he's come on the show and been. It was a great interview, and we had Josh Schaub on when he was commissioner. So, like we want to be able to bring these type of people on, and if they see, oh well, In the Box now has Keith Tozer, and it's Keith Tozer with a clown nose, like,
yeah,
that's not productive. That's not.
Yeah, I agree.
These little jabs by Dave Kovaleski, or these little jokes.
I know. I know. So Bushwhacker has a great idea. We need a game clock for our broadcast, and I'll figure out how to do that. I know there's a way to do that because I know people use. So the program I'm using is called OBS Studio. It's an open source broadcasting software. I know people use it for sports broadcasts and live games, and I know there's like scoreboards and things like that. So I could do all sorts of crazy stuff. I could update a score every time we swear. I mean, there's all sorts of neat stuff I can do. So I'm looking at that. Kelsey wants to know why we only bully Keith. What about the 2 other dudes? I think right now he has a certain vendetta against a certain team that he may or may not have coached before in his career, and that's why certain people are taking it more personally than others. And because Jared just said Keith is the guy. He's the face of the league right now. So
yeah, and you know, I throughout my life, I've been bullied, picked on. It's just a continuation of that. And you know what? I'm going to do what I was taught to do, and just, he has his opinion, and he's completely wrong. And I didn't delete the post and block him for anyone, like a favor to anyone. I did it for myself.
Yep. No, that's fair enough. And with that, we have the, so Gio said, "Do you sure it's a revenge thing or disappointment in the owner thing or both?"
Wait, what did he say?
Gio said, are you sure it's a revenge thing or is it a disappointment in the owner thing or both? I believe the owner had a hand in him leaving the Wave as coach. I don't 100% know that for sure, but that's what I think. Now, I would hope...
I think moving forward, I would have been, just to let everyone know, I would have been perfectly fine if anyone posted something on their normal account, that letter for the rules, and a discussion took place.
Yep.
Going forward, I'm perfectly fine with it. We're here to try and figure out ideas on ways to improve the league. And if there's something we don't like, we can talk about it. And that's why we created the group. I sat in a Domino's parking lot talking to Adam saying, listen, the other group is pretty much just slamming the league. We don't want to be a part of that. We want to do something completely different.
Yep.
If that makes me a sellout, fine. I want to promote the sport. I want to put more money in everyone's pockets, except my own, because, well.
Yeah, Gio says, fair enough. I hope we can learn to be professional behind doors, closed doors, and in public. No, we didn't, John. We're just about to get to that. Just about.
Yeah, let's get to the rules.
Okay, so the actual rules. So
wait. Are we going into that time frame?
Overtime.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is overtime. I'll have to find a way to have a buzzer at the end of the clock.
Yeah. And then we're going to a shootout right after this, right?
A little lightning round.
Oh, all right.
Butterflies.
Cake.
Okay, you win.
Yes.
All right. So the question I got asked the most, the two questions I got asked the most are, who is Keith Tozer? I'm not answering. And was that a real post? Absolutely 100%. This is a
100% real
rule post. It was sent to all teams on
it was Tuesday, I do believe.
I don't know what day it is, so it was a couple days ago.
Today is Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
And yeah. So I made notes. Let's just go through the memo part by part.
Word by word.
Well, I posted it in the box. If anyone wants to see, it's one of the top posted in the box right now, or top towards the top, not necessarily top in content.
Can we analyze it word by word? I got a bunch of time. Why don't we just do word by word?
Really? Okay. So the first section is goal cell, and so Office of the Commissioner has issued the following updates to be effective beginning with the games on February 11th, 2022. All members are expected to follow and implement the following game protocols. Section 1, goal celebration / parameters.
Goal, interesting. Celebration, hooray.
We don't have that
I'm
much.
analyzing word by word.
We don't have that much time. Only the players who are on the field at the time a goal is scored are permitted to participate in the on-field goal celebration, with the exception of game-winning goals in overtime. Players substituting into the game after a goal are not permitted to enter the field of play until their line mate has entered the touchline of their team's bench. Situations of non-compliance will be reported to the commissioner's office. First offense, warning. Second offense, $250 team fine. Third offense, $500 team fine. Fourth offense, $1,000 team fine each occurrence after.
I don't understand this rule at all.
My only guess, and I've heard this over the years, of people like, I hate to bring this up as an example, but we got a 15-5 game the other night where the game was completely out of hand by the beginning, middle of third quarter, basically. Is it right for a team that's up 10 goals to continue to celebrate after they score? And you could tell, like when Frank scored his last goal, he almost felt bad. He's like, oh shit. But it's the nature of a professional athlete to play from the first whistle to the last whistle.
So I'm just going to compare a few things to this. So any outdoor soccer, if a player scores a goal, what happens?
Oh, it's a 5-minute run to the far corner of the field with everybody, including the guys on the sidelines.
Exactly. In the NFL, if someone, it's mostly on the defensive side of the ball. If the defensive player gets an interception, runs it in for a touchdown, what usually happens?
Well, in Green Bay, he flies into the crowd and thousands celebrate with him.
Yeah. Or all the players get together and they do some sort of celebration.
Right.
So are we trying to, like, I want to know the reasoning behind this. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
I wrote, so as I normally do, I write down my thoughts and I make comments. And what Gio just said, my only guess is that they want to speed games up. Because it takes longer when all 15 players go out than when only 5 or 6 do. I mean, we're like one step away from putting a clock on how long you can celebrate for and having the refs do their 4-second count off.
Or 6 seconds or however.
The 4 arm shakes that take 10 seconds long, and then you get the whistle and you're about to blow it. But then the other ref goes a 1, 2, 3, 4. Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. The game is already fast enough with the goalkeeper rule. I've already kind of made that comment. I don't think that. Yeah. I think one of the best parts of the game is the celebration. I think it brings the fans and players like together a little bit, I mean, some of the best, one of the things that shows up in our opening, it's all the Utica City guys like posing.
Yep.
Of course, we all know what happened in that game, but it hypes the crowd up, and they do it in Baltimore too. One of them like jumps up onto the boards, and all the players are like, "Hey, good job, good job, good job!" And I think it's. I hate to say this, but I think it's sucking some of the fun out of it.
They used to call the NFL the no fun league because of rules like this, and they got rid of most of the rules that prevented players from doing that. Because they used to have a 15-yard penalty for a celebration, and now they're allowed choreographed celebrations now.
Except like when Odell Beckham like pretends to pee like a dog. I mean, that was.
There's a couple that are probably not good.
Yeah.
Bushwhacker has a question. He says, Adam, I got a joke for you. Where's the best place to shop for a soccer uniform?
Capelli. That was an easy one.
That was an easy one. Yeah. I don't know. Give me the answer in a couple minutes from now. We'll talk about it. So the questions I said. So one of the questions was like, how are the fines issued per player per incident? And then I realized it was a team fine. If one player goes out one step too early, it's a warning. How are these determined? Are the refs expected to try to keep track of this too when they're still busy trying to figure out how many times the goalkeepers have touched the ball?
So what I think it's going to be is normally if like another person, like six men on the field, like too many men on the field, the other team's going to be like, hey, too many players.
Right. Because we need more of that. Oh, the answer is New Jersey. Where you go to buy a new soccer.
Can you just go in and just kind of delete him?
Yeah. Yeah. So the other question I had was, so after the end of every wave, and you saw this when you were in Milwaukee, and I think most teams do this, after the end of every wave goal, there's a little kid intern guy that comes out on the field with a Sharpie and a ball, and he hands it to the player who scored. He signs it, gives a Sharpie back to the kid. He kicks into the field. Kid goes back on the bench. Does the kid get fined now? And if so,
yeah, that's like a paper route.
Is he going to have to like open his lemonade stand up like 24/7 or something?
I would imagine so. Here's the thing: if they're looking back at what happened in the 80s and 90s, look at the NASL or the MPSL. I'm sorry, the MPSL. Anytime the Cleveland Crunch scored, there was someone with a soccer ball and a Sharpie.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a part of the league for forever. So
yeah,
that's bad. I think the next part's also bad as well.
So then in addition, arena field lights must stay on after goals and post game. Teams may put on a light show but are not allowed to go completely dark after a goal or post game celebration. Going completely dark can lead to potential danger to a player, potential injury, and arena and or team liability. This one I kind of actually agree with. Because like our friend Everton in St. Louis almost died doing a backflip when they turned the lights out right as he was in the middle of his flip. Our friend Steve Squires got a concussion when I think it was Lucas Rodriguez in KC punted a ball after giving up a goal, and he punted up in the crowd and it bonked Steve in the head and gave him a concussion. Mark Saxby punted 2 balls up on the scoreboard, which still have been unaccounted for from 4 seasons ago. That part I agree with. Now a light show can be very, very widely interpreted.
Right.
I think what the wave does through the third and fourth quarter, Ian comes on the thing, said, hey, Milwaukee, hit the lights, all lights go off, and then they play the video. I think that's perfectly fine because there's no players possibly running around the field. But I think right after a goal, having the lights go off like immediately after the goal and then the light show comes on, I agree with that. I think that's probably okay, fine. We can adjust our things a little bit. Fine, whatever. Instead of going perfectly dark, we'll go to like a spotlight effect or something like that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The funny thing is like post game, like if you're doing post game autographs in the dark, that would also not be good.
Yeah. And post game celebration, I definitely agree with that because there was a time Chino scored on Drew Ruggles in overtime against Florida in Milwaukee. Came out running around. They hit the lights. He's running around. Now, I don't know what exactly happened here. I got to talk to Gordy in person on this. Gordy stepped out from the bench, and I think to congratulate him. But because it's dark, he couldn't see, and he kind of stepped into his line of running. And a lot of the players thought he was trying to like trip him or check him or something, and everyone got together. I can see why you wouldn't want to turn off the lights there. So do the same thing that you did before with your goal celebration. Spotlights, flashing lights, strobe lights.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seizures for everyone.
Like if there's anyone in the league that just like turns off all of the lights.
I think Florida does. I think a number of teams do. I think what they do is they turn off all lights and then spotlight the player who scored. And I think that's what happens a lot of times.
Okay.
So I totally agree with this one. I think this is a no-brainer. This is very, very easy to implement. And especially like Milwaukee has those really cool LED lights. You could do all sorts of cool stuff with them.
Yeah, Utica does, like, it just dims blue.
Right, right. And Milwaukee can do the black. They have like a yellow, like a dim yellow kind of thing. They can do that easily. Yeah, Eddie says Tacoma used to. I remember that too. So the next one. The arena boards and setup rule for fans. Now, before I even read this, most people get so pissed off. I think what happens is people read the goal celebrations thing and their eyes go red and they get to this and they just don't think it through. So starting February 11th, the MASL requires that arenas that do not have protective glass enclosing the player surface must provide a minimum of 4 to 6 distance. It's written like a, not written very well. So, arenas that do not have protective glass enclosing the playing surface provide a minimum distance of 4 to 6 feet between spectators and the playing surface or boards in the exposed area in arenas that do not have permanent seating on the boards.
I.e. the beer garden.
I.e. the beer garden, or cases like Harrisburg or like Solis de Sonora used to have that open area where people would stand up against the boards. This means during gameplay, fans are not allowed to have hands or body or food or beverage on the playing boards or on the boards on the penalty or bench areas. In the arenas that do have permanent seating on the boards with the glass down, those fans must not put any part of their body or objects, food or beverage on or across the boards in the vicinity of the field during play. Now, my comments on this...
I.e. my seat.
Right. I think asking people to not have their arms out in the middle of the field during play or a drink on the boards is perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
Makes perfect sense to me.
The only thing I do, and I do it because the players do it, and I've started doing it, is like putting my hand over and hitting the boards. Like they're on the other side of the field.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say when somebody comes by, you clothesline them.
I do.
I thought you were going to say like when a player runs by, you clothesline them, and that's all you do. That should be fine.
Only if that's Adriano Dos Santos, and I haven't really had the opportunity to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Not really.
Yeah. The beer garden is an interesting one because I haven't thought about that specifically. But I think this rule is, I think most people think, oh, the league wants us to put glass up. They're going to force us to put glass up around the arena. And that's not really what this is saying. This is saying, so the rule is, and I don't know if a lot of people know this. Are you still with me, Matt? You kind of froze up. I think we lost Matt.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Your video is kind of just doing weird. We'll just wait for the snow to melt and it'll fix it.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
So I think what happens is, if anyone knows, if the ball hits anyone that is on the other side of the board, it's an out of bounds. So what players could do, and I've actually seen, or what fans could do, I've seen players do this, where a ball's going down the thing and they reach out and try to grab it. Because if they did, it would be out of bounds right there. And there's really no penalty for that. And if a fan were to do that, and then you get in all the safety issues of a fan doing that and getting knocked in the head or getting that, it's a liability thing. I think this rule is perfectly fine. I don't know how it's going to affect your beer garden, though. That's the one thing that I never even thought of.
So I got to thinking, I'm trying to go back and look at, like in my head, I don't think people put beer on the boards.
Okay.
I think in the case of the beer garden, I think it might be more of a safety issue between the fans and the players.
Yep.
I mean, there was an instance, Ontario versus Utica, where there was almost a fight that broke out. I mean, between someone in the beer garden and one of the players from Ontario. So I think pushing it back a little bit is okay. And I kind of talked about this with Coach Hall. We were trying to figure out. He's like, Matt, you're not 4 to 6 feet away, are you? I'm like, no. I'm like, seat, boards, turf. I'm literally like 2 to 3 feet away.
But is your seat permanent?
Yes.
Then that doesn't apply to you.
Right.
Yeah, the 4 to 6 feet is only.
If I were to like put it on the other side, I think you're going to see maybe the beer garden pushed back a little bit, which I really don't know if it's going to affect it as much as they think.
John just said they've already made a space of the beer garden. And then,
okay, so
yeah, Gio just said what I was going to say. He thinks it's reference to Florida Tropics and Zach Reggett, where he drank the beer from the fan. Which, let's be honest, I'm not a beer drinker and I'm not that type of person, but that was pretty cool.
He stole that from Joey Tavernese. He did that
right
2 years ago.
And they did have the whole thing of you can't go up into the stands during a game from players and things like that. That's perfectly fine. I don't think this is as big of a deal as a lot of people, because I saw some Wave fans saying, well, I pay premium money for those seats, and if they put glass up, I'm not going to go to any more games. Like, that's not what this says, but I think you get so pissed off at reading the first dumbass thing that you just...
Right, yeah. I think the key to the entire thing, now, I mean, we can go over the rest of the rules, and those rules, I mean, really don't... I mean, they're kind of no-brainers, I think.
Yeah.
But I think the main one is this goal celebration thing that's just ridiculous.
There's 2 more coming up. LeSharon says, I've been hit by several times by the ball. Some players will check on me. I don't put up a drink out because I'm banging the hell out of my fan on the boards. LeSharon, they mentioned you like 4 times on the broadcast when the ball went.
Oh my god, it's so funny. So the ball's like really high up in the air and her arms just go up. She's just like this, and she's just waiting for it to like come to a complete stop, and then she's like looking around for it. Yeah, I know. I was there.
Yeah. I mean, so John just said, yeah, concern was them putting glass in front of his seat because there definitely isn't 4 feet between. But yeah, I think that's Wave fans. So Tozer wants, I think what happens is we hear things and we just assume things. Tozer said he wants glass up everywhere. He said that in one of his interviews. I don't know where it was. He said, that's what we want. We want glass up everywhere. And he might even told me that on the phone. But they're not making that rule. They're not making that a rule. And I think when people read this, like, oh, we want glass up everywhere, we're not going to. And Wave fans, don't worry. Nothing's going to change. I think the big thing is nobody should have drinks up on the boards where players are running past.
That's dumb.
That I don't, and I guess in the first couple of rows there was a bunch of kids running around and they had all their stuff on the boards and everything, and you're a second away from something getting tipped over and a player slipping on it and killing themselves, or So this for me is a no-brainer. The next rule is something that should have been in place, and they tried to make this in place. This is the goalkeeper roster rules. All teams are required to dress 2 goalkeepers for every game, no exceptions. In the event of an injury during a multi-game weekend, teams will be permitted to register and activate a goalkeeper to ensure they have 2 in the lineup.
Yep.
Now, years ago, they used to have...
100%.
Yeah, years ago, they used to have a 15-player roster, and then the playoffs, they would have 16, provided that 16th was a goalie. And then the next season, they said, okay, now the roster is 16. Now, the reason they wanted to do that is because they wanted people to do 2 goalkeepers, but instead, teams were like, oh, cool, we can just roster another player, and then their goalkeeper gets hurt. Okay, this is a no-brainer. There should be a mandate of 2 goalkeepers for every game, because...
And especially, I mean, geez, we've seen how many goalies go down with concussion issues.
Well, and what I'm afraid of is that this is an answer to the Ontario memo of we need player safety because of the ball issues, and they're like, oh, well, if a goalkeeper gets hurt, we'll just have another goalkeeper on the roster. That is not a solution. That's like saying I'll get an ice bag ready for when the guy punches me in the face or when I call him a dickhead at a game or something like that. That's just not, there's a better solution for that.
Speaking of that word, do you want me to draw another picture for you?
Speaking of corn dog moments.
One right there.
So the next 2 are things that were, I guess, rules that weren't really written, but now they are written. First one is titled Public Comments. Owners, team staff, coaches, players, and team contracted online streaming game announcers may not disparage game official decisions and press releases, quotes provided to the media on social media or during stream game broadcasts. Fines will be levied accordingly based on the nature, severity, and context of the comments made. Suspensions at the commissioner's discretion. My first comment is Baltimore is fucked. Because that really annoying fat dude that's in the box who complains about every single call and every single non-call, you might as well just have a counter. Like, here is this fine counter in the background. It's just fine.
Exactly.
So, and I mean, every team tends to talk about, oh, that was a non-call. Oh, that was a non-call. Now, how?
Except the Spanish announcers, I really don't know what they're saying. I mean, I understand some of it.
Well, I mean, they're saying this.
Michael Jordan lo hizo. I believe I can fly.
That's easy enough to understand.
Is it great chilies? Or what was the one?
The great
What
chilies.
was the one where they're like down near the goal? It's like,
Yeah, I didn't grab that. I think what happens is English is a very clumsy language, and I don't know exactly how to describe Spanish because I don't speak it, but to me, Spanish flows more. The more flowing and easier to speak language than English is, because English is clumsy and dumb, kind of like the American English people. Wait, what? Of which I am one, so I'm calling myself clumsy and dumb, and
Yes.
Yep, guilty.
I am definitely clumsy at the story I told you before the show.
Right. There's going to be a 80s movie made of Matt trying to get home from Dallas. Just leave it at that. I think what happens is they just almost like he's looking, but they get it flows so much better that's what was happening. He's kind of stuttering because I kind of stutter all the time when I'm thinking, because I kind of think and talk at the same time. Sometimes my brain goes faster than my mouth can spit out the words, or the other way around. Oh, he says, correction, Baltimore, Milwaukee in trouble. I don't think Milwaukee complains about the non-calls as much as the. But you know who else is in trouble?
It's gonna be at the discretion of the commissioner. So, what is defined as like disparaging comments?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that was such a bullshit call. Like, okay, that is.
Yeah. Or I don't know about that one.
Oh, I don't know. That kind of looked like a blue card. I don't know. Like that right there, I don't think.
There are very few broadcasts, I think, right now that would be in trouble. I think a questionable would be, and I hate to call him out by name, Nate Abarea spending the entire third quarter a couple of weeks ago talking about the goalkeeper rule and calling it silly, and then acknowledging that he probably shouldn't be talking about what he's talking about. I think.
Now, is this?
Gio, that's the next rule.
Let's say, for example, an entire team has a player down and they're like berating the refs. Is that like considered disparaging comments, or is it just talking broadcast?
Well, and I think what this is getting at, NFL, if the coach goes, yeah, I think the refereeing was horrible today and that's the reason why we lost, he gets a fine. That's just the way the NFL works. I think that's what they're going towards. Some of it I understand. I think it's way too vague. And the next one, so Gio made a comment on Milwaukee and Baltimore, but he was including the next paragraph, which then I'll agree with him on that. But so the next paragraph kind of leads in, it's hand in hand. It's social media guidelines. All members acknowledge that the league in their sole discretion shall have right to discipline or penalize an individual or member for any social media or public statements that may or may not be in the best interest of the club or league. Such discipline may include suspensions or fines or other penalties at the discretion of the office of the commissioner. Yes, I would agree this is where Milwaukee is in trouble. In fact, he made it public, so I might as well just say it. Milwaukee Wave owner, I won't say his name because everyone knows who he is, made a comment about the Savage Arena, Chihuahua Savage Arena, saying the league should be embarrassed that this arena's in the league, and got fined $5,000, which is the biggest fine in MASL history, for a social media comment. And that kind of brings my point from earlier on. The league seems to be more worried about what's done on social media than what's done on the field right now.
Yep.
And this is gonna make things worse. It's gonna make players not want to interact. Now, granted, a lot of players already don't interact. I know there's been highly suggestive comments made by team owners that their players not participate in stuff. But I think this is widening the gap between players and fans, because right now we have a really, really cool camaraderie and friendship, flat out friendship with the players and the teams and the owners that we don't see in other sports. If we wanted to make this like the NFL, that relationship would be gone. And that's where I think this sport has a really good niche that people just don't understand.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's, I hope going forward that this, I hope that the negative comments from owners, from players, just stop. Like that's, it's not productive.
But I don't agree with a lot of the things that Soccer Sam says. And Sam, if you're still out there, this is not...
He sent me a message, and as you know, I can't really read it, but he does. I read part of it, and he said he appreciates what we do, and this was him back in 1995, and I'll read the rest.
Yeah,
and fill you in.
I don't agree with a lot of things that Soccer Sam says, but I get where he's coming from, and I understand the passion. But that doesn't mean that we can't have a discussion about it. As long as it stays civil and he's not telling fans to go fuck off, or he's not doing things like, posting a picture of me with a beer in my hand telling me I'm drinking while driving, like some fans have done to some players or coaches in the league in the past. And then Gio says, yeah, you can criticize without insulting. You can have a very, very heated discussion without it getting personal.
Exactly. Exactly. And it kind of goes into, I hate to bring it up again, but last night,
I definitely think that crossed the line. I think there were ways to go about what was said without saying what was said. Alex says, what if the broadcasters say, I would point out how awful that call is, but I don't want to get fined, so I won't. I think that comment could be taken as disparaging. It's almost like, what's his name?
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
I'm here because I don't want to get fined.
I'm only here because I don't want to be fined, right?
Yeah.
Right. So now there's
I get where they're going with this. We don't want to put out any sort of negative connotations towards the league.
Yes.
Like all leagues do it. All leagues do it, but they have something in place to kind of curb it.
Now, however, you'll notice it says owners, team staff, coaches, players, and team contracted online streaming game announcers. We make that any more convoluted? And then we said all members. Notice who that happens to be on the show right now are not any of the above. So if any anonymous person wishes to make a comment, send us an anonymous message and we'll talk about it anonymously on our show.
Totally anonymous.
Completely anonymous.
Yeah.
No names, no.
And it's like MASL HIPAA.
MASL HIPAA. I love it. Yeah. So that's the rules. Unfortunately, those are true.
Oh, that leads me. So you're about the jokes, and you've probably heard this one, but I have one for you.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe it'll turn off the show early, and then I can go to bed.
No, we still got more to talk
knock
about.
knock.
What was your joke?
Knock knock knock. It's a knock knock joke.
Who's there?
HIPAA.
HIPAA who?
I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
That's good. That's actually a good one. I like that. For my music video, I gotta go one of my kids to help me with this, and the joke is, I'll do it with you. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting timeout video.
Now would be a great time for a timeout.
Now, back to them.
All right.
I gotta say, I've missed Joey Zanaboni calls.
Yes, I have to. And
Does
I figured.
does that mean we're going into like the final stretch of this thing?
Well, Adam G just pointed out we have hit the first 30-minute overtime, so it's time for
Overtime.
I can fly.
Michael Jordan lo hizo. I believe I can fly.
Oh God, that was that.
Okay. Let's talk about something that came up last week. Kind of taking on to the comments made by a certain owner about a certain arena in Mexico. If we're gonna have all of these like mandates and rules and professional standards and everything, there are four arenas right now that I feel should not be in the league right now based on arena alone. You want to guess which four? Should be easy.
Based off of arena, I think you would go Chihuahua, Baltimore, Florida, and it pains me. I mean, Harrisburg probably.
You got it. Yep. And I know the facility in Baltimore is nice, and that's the one that's like right on the edge for me. I know the
right on the edge for me is Harrisburg.
What's that?
I think Harrisburg. I don't know where else you would put an arena, and it's it's been there since the beginning of time. So I get it.
That's the thing, though. It's every little thing that we talk about in this league that we want to make better. There's always a reason and there's always an excuse. And it's like, at what point do the excuses stop being excuses and that's just the way they are? It's just normal. So I've heard the arena in Baltimore is nice. It looks nice. But there's no way to get a real size field in there, and it changes the game in a way that you've had to make these weird rules that just wouldn't apply anywhere else. I think giving the goalkeeper I'll come back to that, Alec, in a second. I think the old rule where the goalkeeper couldn't throw the ball over 3 lines was a good rule. But as soon as you get Baltimore's arena in there, you have to take that rule out because it's only 75 feet versus whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of 3-line rule violations in Baltimore because of that. I mean, kicking the ball, you have to change things around. And it's a lot faster. I'm sure you can get a game underneath an hour in Baltimore if you could try.
Like playing it on 2X and on YouTube.
Yeah.
The Alex said I would argue Florida's arena is fine. It's what's inside that's the issue. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And I'm talking about.
So here's the thing. I will say this. I was gonna. Now Alec does his power rankings of teams. Adam does his power rankings on broadcast.
You doing turf?
I'm going to be putting out a power rankings of arenas that I have been to.
Oh, there was a guy
because I've been to quite a few over the last few years, and I'm going to base it off of, environment, fans, like all sorts of different things.
Halftime get-togethers.
I don't know if I'll take that into consideration. Big thing's going to be if my team won.
Then everyone's screwed.
No, that's going to be a tie for last for everybody.
Right? Yeah.
But Florida's arena is just, It's unfortunately like the broadcast rankings. Florida's towards the bottom for me. I don't think it's too big with how many people are in that or how many it can seat. Too big.
So Ronald, I knew I was going to get this as soon as I saw him in the chat and I mentioned this. I knew this was coming. He was like, "Yeah, kick a 40-year-old cornerstone organization out of the league." Obviously, sarcasm. And then he said, "Adapt or die." So this isn't a perfect scenario, is what I'm saying. In a perfect scenario, Baltimore would not be playing 1,000, and I think any Baltimore fan can agree with that. It's not, as fans were saying, it's not innovative. It's not, oh, Ed Hale's a visionary and he knows the small field is the future of the game. It was we need to play at this place or we can't play anymore. I totally get that. But at some point in the future, oh boy, now we got someone in Russia saying sister19lol.online. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Message removed. At some point in the league, and I'm not saying right now, and I'm not saying we kick these 4 teams out right now, but I'm saying at some point in the league, the excuses and all of the excuses that come in, there has to be a precedent set. Now, the league says, hey, Baltimore, you can't be in this arena because you can't meet a realistic minimum field size for what we need as our new standard in the league. You have 5 years to fix it. I think that would be a realistic thing. It wouldn't be like, hey guys, we're starting these new rules in 2 weeks and you got to completely adapt your whole arena or otherwise you're out. Nothing like that. This is a multi-year, but there needs to be a long-term plan for a lot of this stuff because otherwise nothing happens. Nothing's ever done. Nothing changes. So Bushwhacker says the rumor is that teal turf may still come to the Ambuns. That'd be cool.
I think that's like one of the first things I think each team should look at. And we've said this since day one. It's about how you present your team.
Yep.
And if people are seeing this raggedy ass turf, it's like, now how much time and effort are they putting into this team? Like, how much time and effort should I put into watching this team?
And so Gio says, so here's my question. What is wrong with these arenas? I don't want to hear because I don't like it. I think these 4 in particular, and granted, Baltimore is at the top of the 4 list, whereas Florida's at the bottom. I think these arenas devalue the product of the league. So I'm not talking about the game day being in the arena experience, because as a league as a whole, you have to grow the product and you're going to get way more fans that are watching broadcasts online than you are going to be in the arenas. That's just the way it works. I think I'll get to that comment in a second, G. I think let's leave Baltimore out of the discussion for now. Let's take Florida, for example, or Harrisburg. Somebody turns on indoor soccer for the first time and they see that. The questions aren't going to be, like I said earlier, why are they kicking the ball back to the goalie so often? It's going to be, what am I watching? Why is there no one in the stands? Where are all the people? Why does this guy keep yelling, Florida? Why does the guy's sound keep cutting out? Why is there a blue and pink?
Why does the turf look like shit?
Why does the turf have weird paint football lines on it and there's double letters typed in? Why is there Dave and Bubusters on the thing for Syracuse back in the day? And just like all these things that cheapen the league. And you may say, well, that's only that. Like Turlock. I loved watching Turlock's broadcast, but that was not a good thing for the league. When you're watching an arena with 200 people in it and you can see the bubble soccer being played at the far field. So that's where I'm getting at with these comments. I think something that cheapens the league, devalues the league. When we had Andrew Haynes on here, one of the things he said was when he went to a company or a site that said, we want to stream with you, they're like, okay, show me your worst broadcast. And they would go to him with like the KCs, the Milwaukee's, and the San Diegos and say, here's our best broadcast. And they're like, show me the worst. And if your worst looks like what it does now, you're not getting anywhere.
Here's my thing. Like, I think you could take any of those broadcasts, and I think you can make it quality. I think if I were watching this first time, I think, is it aesthetically pleasing? Like, does the turf look nice? Is the broadcast okay? I think I would be like, well, how many people are there?
So
And I'm gonna put Florida out there. Like, if I turn on a Florida broadcast, I'm gonna be like, boy, there's like 20 people in that arena. Like that's gonna instantaneously turn me off. If I'm gonna throw Baltimore, if I'm gonna watch a Baltimore broadcast and I see Baltimore's in the league in attendance right now, I do believe. So if I were to watch that, granted, I know the field's small, but there's 3,000 people there.
Casey
and
is.
It looks packed, you know.
In answer to your question from an hour and a half ago, Casey, it was just over 6,000 people at that game at T-Mobile Center.
Okay, so I was going to say that's good. I mean, 6,000 people for that is great. And I've made this a point, and it was kind of debunked by someone as they were doing their tirade yesterday. Percentage to fill the arena. Like, I think if a person watches for the first time, are they going to be more attracted to an arena that might be a little less than perfect, but with a lot of fans, or let's say Toyota Arena with 500 fans?
And so the point Gio made was if you're agreeing, or if you're talking about the crowd, Fury and Stars have to be in that conversation, and San Diego, and I have to agree with that. Now, granted, this year's with the COVID attendances, I don't think we can really base on that.
I spoke to I spoke to Jonathan Reimer about it, and he's like, this arena is way too big, and I completely agree. Like, and in a way to kind of, I don't know if this would like resolve the issue, but for arenas that have like maybe 1,500, 2,000 people, be like, okay, everyone move on down. Like, you bought a ticket, just move on down.
Right. And I think because Florida has that upper area, you know what I didn't realize until recently is there's a upper area in Baltimore with like black seats. I only noticed that like this season.
That's the Geo box.
That's the Geo Suite.
Those are the Geo box seats, yeah.
The Geo Metro. Wait, no, that's something else.
No.
I'm sure Gio's never heard that joke in his life either. But
Probably
yeah,
not.
so Gio says I do agree we have to have better productions, but I feel it's more production, less than arena. I will agree with that to an extent. But you can, like, Harrisburg's production and their broadcast is actually pretty good, but that arena looks like a shithole. Like, there's a dirt floor and there's these weird seats and they're way too far away from the field. And it's not spaced out right. It's a weird looking space, and you can tell it's not meant for indoor soccer. I mean, you can stick an indoor soccer field just about anywhere, but that doesn't make it mean it's going to look like a good environment.
You probably couldn't stick an indoor soccer field in my house.
Baltimore size.
I don't even know if Baltimore could fit. Well, maybe.
The joke that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on that. I don't think there's like no set. I mean, this is just us throwing around ideas and us throwing around things. I think the Chihuahua field it technically is longer than Baltimore's field, but the way the angles are and the camera angles and things make it look much smaller.
I like the turf.
The turf still freaks my brain
guy.
out a little bit because it looks like this, like those commercials where everything's in black and white and then the lady in the red dress walks in. That's what it looks to me. So
Yeah, I like the turf though.
I think it's
I should do turf. I should do turf rankings.
But if you so I brought this up in a post. John wants to know, what did he miss? We have enough time for another overtime. He says, great having you in Ontario, Matt. John, you missed our new scene, and I'll play it again, even though we're not going to go to another overtime, although we might.
Overtime. Overtime. Overtime.
I hope we don't go into another overtime. And Jonathan, I've mentioned you guys a bunch. I mean, we had 50 concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
And
we're still
I
at
think
30.
It's probably because I think it's mostly because of you and Philly and Panda letting me just talk and watch Ontario score goals on Utica at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
So thank you, and I hope it's a warmer there. And how does the hoodie fit? How does the hoodie feel?
Oh no, 60 degrees. Oh no.
Oh no. So yesterday, as I was leaving yesterday, so I'm wearing a hat and I'm about to get in my car. I had to change into my shoes. It was so windy. Like my hat almost flew off. It was like 30-mile-an-hour winds. And I'm like, well, no top down for me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it was cold. It was cold yesterday morning.
Yeah, it's
with that wind.
It's 10 degrees right now.
It's like 30 something here and it's snowing. We barely made it.
That's good that you made it. So on the
it was more fun. It was more fun getting to the gate than.
It's not the journey, it's the destination. No, it's not the arrival. No, it's
not the. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I almost died.
So on that topic of, even though I said, I was gonna say, Jerry, what is cold to you? Because it's cold here in San Diego. Like what is cold?
Okay.
But anyway,
who? Us?
No, so Jerry Jimenez said it's cold here in San Diego. What have you done, Matt? I want to know what cold. And then Gio's like, what is cold?
So here's the thing. I packed. So I saw the forecast. You guys lied. Okay. The weather forecast was like 65, sunny. So I packed shorts. Of course, I was going to pack shorts regardless. Being from Northern New York, I'm shoveling snow in like 5-degree weather in my shorts. So of course, it's going to happen. So I get there and it's like 55-ish. Yeah, you're 10. And it's, like I said, it's like 30 something here.
Well, Sharon says it's 58 and freezing. So I just wanted to.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So if you guys want to come to Utica.
Right. I know.
I've already been told by Panda she's never coming to Utica because it's too cold for her. So I get there and it's like 55 and it felt great. I'm wearing shorts, got the top down in the convertible, wind blowing in whatever hair is here. No, it was great weather. I don't know what you guys are complaining about. 60 degrees.
58, and I will be on a kayak fishing
at
some point in April or May.
Come live here for a week.
Yeah. So back to the arena. There's a Kevin Whitrock asked a really good question, but I want to wait until I bring up. And my thing is more important. Sorry, Kevin. No, it's just I want this to flow a little bit better here. So even though I said the 4 teams should be in the league right now, blah blah blah. Let's say it's not a overnight solution. It's a multi-year. Like I think they told Turlock, you have X amount of years to get into a real arena, and that was the plan, and maybe it just didn't happen and they got moved down, whatever. Florida right now looks like the most dominant team that I've seen, even more dominant than San Diego, I think, right now. Will the league allow the championship to be played in the arena with the worst broadcast and one of the worst looking fields and arenas?
I would hope the league will do something about this.
Will they?
If they want any sort of TV deal.
Yep.
ESPN or BN Sports or 7-Eleven Sports or whatever that horrible sports. All right. Who are your champions? Oh, the Florida Tropics. Oh, we're gonna want to show a lot of their games because I mean they're the champs, and it's like
Right. And I know a few years ago that before a lot of things happened, the league was looking to do playoffs on beIN Sports. And actually this may have been the season that got cut off. And they were going to have the broadcast sent from the arena to beIN Sports and have beIN Sports announcers remotely announce it. So it wouldn't even be the arena announcers. Gio, I agree with that, but let's just assume for a second. He said they aren't going. It's going to be the PSG curse. So they were going to do that. They were planning on doing that. But the problem is, what happens if you have this product that it could go on? A lot of these things I feel are like a one-shot deal. You get a one-chance deal to present your best product. So what do? There are very faithful Florida fans. There aren't many of them, but there are very faithful ones. You basically give them a giant middle finger and say, "Nah, we're going to play your games in Milwaukee or Kansas City or the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. That's where their championships are going to be played." Do you do that to a team just because of their arena's broadcast? Because obviously no one's going to make their broadcast any better this season. They've had their chances. They've had, I don't know how many ever games.
Well, then let me ask this. So, would you be for or against a rotating site for the championship game, a la the NFL?
I think the idea in theory is good. I think in practice it would probably be a giant failure because of not being able to get enough fans there. Because what happens if we'll pick Utica? What's happening if you and obviously you're picking cities that are already in the league, I would assume. What happens if Utica's picked and there's a giant snowstorm that weekend and nobody can get there? Because you have to do it on a weekend. There's no way you can do it during the week. And then you're like, well, okay, then we'll have it on the West Coast. Well, you can't just have it on the West Coast. You have to rotate it.
Right.
Yeah, John just typed in right before you said it, and thanks to the YouTube delay, we win. So let's get back to Kevin's question. So Kevin says, serious question. Would it be better for the league to lose a few teams due to bad arena conditions versus having teams in the league in their current conditions? And then somebody says, I'd choose more teams. I don't know. I think a lot of people are like, we need more teams. We need to expand. We need more teams. But we have, in the 8-year history of the MASL, we have never seen the same makeup of teams 2 seasons in a row. And that does not speak to stability to me. I think having an 8-team league that was consistent over 4 years straight is much better than a 12, 7, 16, 20, 23, 21 team league over the years where every year there's 7 or 8 teams in flux and so Gio said owners will argue for their arena that's a bad idea. They barely play nice. And that's where commissioner needs to step in and do stuff, which is going to piss people off.
Yeah, I think at the end of the year, I think Commissioner Tozer and maybe the 3 of them, all 3 of them, go to each city and be like, okay, how do you guys think you did? Kind of like a performance review at a job.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's your strong points. I mean, your players perform great. Here's what's lacking. Here's what you need to work on. You need to work on getting a better turf.
Yeah.
You need to work on your camera angles, your broadcasting. You need to work on this, that, and the other thing.
Thing is,
next year, we expect boom, boom, boom.
the thing is, it's middle of the season, and if they haven't done that by now, that's a big miss.
Right.
And it's obvious
right.
that
I was going to say middle of the year, but I'm like, well, they probably won't get to it. So I think end of the year should be something like.
Yeah.
Like people are sick of looking at this turf, Florida. What are you going to do? This is what we expect of you. And if you don't do it, we'll either fine you or I don't think they can do anything with their payroll.
No, I did.
Because it's not really like
I did ask
anything like that, but something.
I did ask JP Della Camera that I don't know if you were on that show or not. Whatever, right in the middle of your phone issues, but he said, well, and if we have a TV deal and there's some teams that don't get a home game shown in the TV deal, that's just the way it has to be.
Right. I completely agree. Like but I think, like I said, going back to, like, they're going to want the better teams to be on the broadcast. They're going to want the champions. They're going to want, and if it ends up being Florida, Florida's not going to have any games broadcast. And that's going to look bad. It's like, oh, well, the champions of the league have a shit broadcast. Oh, well.
Soccer Sam just sent me a book. I'm not going to read it. Kevin said, if you truly want a TV deal, then you have to have your top product. And if that means losing a few teams, then yes, that's what you have to do for the betterment of the league long term. Absolutely.
Wait, who said that?
Kevin Whitrock, who has been in the chat before in the past, and I don't know what team he's from.
I completely agree.
And Amanda, Amanda, sorry, I didn't. I know Amanda from her daughter and my daughter used to play soccer together back when they were wee little pups and then through high school against each other. And she said her son is 9 and hopes to one day play for the Wave. I would love for soccer to be around long enough for my son to get that chance. It should be. It's been around for 40 years. I don't see why it won't
depends.
be around.
Yeah, it depends on the capacity.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're trying to build the sport. And
so, and there's a couple of comments. I know this touched a nerve on the Blast fans, and I am somewhat sorry. A little.
I didn't want to touch that one.
Maybe. Kevin's one of the old Cedar Rapids Rampage guy. One of the worst broadcasts of all time. Yes, the Atari 2600 game was one of my favorites.
That turf was tough to look at.
So Alex says spitball idea for CQ. What if they folded in the seats on the other end of the field? They would lose those seats and others would be obstructed, but the field might be closer to acceptable. I think, and Alec had that was Alec, by the way. I don't know if I said that. I don't know if I said that earlier. Brian, before I get to that, Brian, look up Major League Wiffle Ball and you'll be just completely blown out of your mind. Look that up on YouTube.
Oh my God, it's great. It's great.
It's with, like, seriously, Major League Wiffle Ball. So Alex said something a while ago that I kind of ignored, and I want to get back to it now. He said, what if you reduce the maximum field size? Because it's much easier to put a smaller field in their big arena than it is a bigger field in the small arena. Oh, hang on.
Overtime.
We are entering triple overtime here on In the Box, Inside the Box.
Giggity.
And
what time is it even? I don't even know what time it is.
It's 10:30 Central, so it's 11:30 your time.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So yeah, and Brad is being like typical Blast fan, passive aggressive, and Brad, I love you for that. But he says, so an empty arena is okay because the field looks cool, but a full arena isn't because it's small. Makes sense. I think
I don't think he heard what I said.
You're right. I think there's ways to make the arenas look bigger, and if you know you're going to be on
I believe I said that literally like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, but, I think it's. I think the issue is that the minimum field size is too small, and I really doubt based on everything I've heard, there's no possible way Baltimore's field is 150 feet. And the reason I say that is because if you look at a 200-foot field, it's in quarters. Gold yellow line is 50 feet, yellow line is center is 50 feet, and on. So there's 4 50-foot sections. Now, before you guys, Brad and Gio and Alec, jump on me for this, let me explain. if you, John says, can we please not go to another shootout? Hashtag too soon. If you look at Baltimore's field, what I heard is that they made sure that yellow line to goal line was 50 feet and they shortened up the center. But there's no way the yellow line to yellow line is the same as yellow line to goal line.
Did you just get a message from Commissioner Keith Tozer?
No. Did you?
I will be right back. I'm going to send it to you and you can read it because I just got a message and you know how I have to.
Oh boy.
Or do you want me to wait?
No, you can. No. You can go. I'll talk about stuff with.
All right. I'll be right back.
This is In the Box Live, Blast Fan Talk. We do not go to PKs. We can't go to PKs. We don't have time for that. Now, Matt, it's 11:30 his time. It's only 10:30 my time. I'm usually awake for 2 more hours. So Gio, you were right. I think the range is too big for these fields. The 150 to 200 feet is a fourth of a field. That's so Brad says, and for anyone not watching the chat here, and I know I usually repeat it because for those of you who don't know, Matt doesn't see the chat, so I usually repeat the questions in the chat and talk. So the yellow line to goal line is more than 50 feet, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but it's still, if you compare that to like Sonora had a 150-foot field, and theirs was more in thirds. I think the yellow lines, the goal line were shorter. But if you compare pictures of players on the midfield to CQ, just doesn't look anywhere near like it could be the same size. While we get Matt back, I'm going to take a quick timeout and read something, and I'll be right back.
Now would be a great time for a timeout.
Now, back to them.
All right, it isn't really back to them, it's just back to me. What I wanted to do is we got a message from Commissioner Tozer. I wanted to read it before I just read it on the air in case it was something that shouldn't have been said. He clarified some of the rules. He said after a goal is scored, 6 players on the field can run around, etc. Not all 16 players coming out for each goal. If it's an important goal, like the Leo Gibson over 200, of course, that can be celebrated. That won't be penalized and everything. The league is preparing for national television of some sort, but in the meantime, we need to clean up aspects of the game/production to get ready for it. Can a ball boy with a Sharpie and ball run out? That was my joke. He said, of course. That was a joke. That should have obviously been a joke. So he said lights can go off as long as there's some sort of secondary lighting like lasers, floodlights. Again, and yeah, what we guessed, health and safety. When there's a complete blackout, no other sport does it. Agree 1,000,000%. Absolutely. Totally agree with that one. And then he said all the other stuff is for players, ref, and fan safety. I get it. Okay. I get it. That's it. What'd you say? So what did I miss in the chat? Nothing. All right, so I think Matt is, I don't know, Matt's just decided to go to bed because it's so late, or if I'm on here on my own or not. We'll see what happens in the next couple minutes here. One thing that, yeah, Adam, I could almost bet, I mean, before we had any of the 3 on the show, and we haven't had Shep on the show, and I don't know why. I think we kind of dropped the ball once the season started. We just didn't do it, but I knew that neither of them watched the show before, but it's good to see that they're watching, or that at least somebody's watching and saying, hey, you should pay attention to this because they're making fun of your league, but which we're not. Everything we talk about is passionate for the league and for the growth, and we I know Baltimore guys, you feel like we're picking on you specifically, and maybe we are a little bit. And just, I don't know. But I think in the grand scheme of things, we just want the whole sport to grow. And I think Matt's maybe a little more sensitive this season because his team isn't doing well. Wave aren't doing all that great this season. I think we're getting better. I think the last 4 games have really shown a lot of growth, and not just because of the wins. Even though we had the second loss in Chihuahua, I talked to a lot of the players, and they say that they feel that was one of their best feeling losses. That makes any sense because there was a lot of growth there. I think back-to-back in Mexico for any team is going to be tough. San Diego had to go to overtime in both games. We were essentially 1 goal away. I think what happened is the first quarter of that second game in Chihuahua, the Wave kind of just got caught a little bit behind, a little bit tired. But the way they picked it up and ran for 4 quarters after that was impressive. Matt, if he's joining again. One thing I did want to comment on. Oh, I guess Tozer's messaging Matt a bunch of stuff. Matt, I don't think Matt can hear me. Stand by. Matt's trying to join again. So I don't know if Jay's still out there, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was Jay's weird, strangely true prediction about the Chihuahua Savage. So, okay, maybe I want to talk about that. So, Ronald, I don't think you're getting where I'm coming from here. It doesn't, because the arena doesn't, because of the way the arena in the field size is, doesn't have anything to do with how the team performs and how many championships the team has and how they've done and that sort of thing. It's strictly about the product that we're showing. If you put the first place team in a 15,000 person state-of-the-art arena that has 200 people in it, it's going to look bad. If you put the worst team in the world in a 4,000 person arena that has 4,000 people in it and the production is flawless, it's still going to be a good product, regardless of how that team performs on the field. That's just the way it works. That's why the NFL has teams that haven't won in 40 years, you Cleveland Browns, who still have sold out games and season ticket holders and huge fan bases and sell tons of merch. That's just the way the product works. Matt's trying to join again. I don't think you're, hang on, please hold. I can't hear you yet. Just talking to myself. All right, he's back. Maybe not. There he is. And yeah, back to them.
Back to them. So hopefully everything is now sent your way.
I just got the one message, and we had talked about it a little bit, and I read it. It sounds
right. You're right. So he was writing more stuff, and I just told him, I'm like, hey, just to let you know, Adam's got all the technology and stuff. All I have is a phone. And I can't really read anything.
You need to send.
Yeah, Soccer Sam did write a long thing, which I kind of like went over.
Yeah, wow. Come on, Sam. I have to go in another overtime if I read that online. I can't.
He's busy being a grandpa. Congrats to Soccer Sam. That's why he's still awake right now. So the commissioner did send me something else. I don't know if he's going to send it to you, but okay.
If he does, I'll read it.
At least he's watching.
So
and that's awesome that the commissioner is watching. Hopefully he doesn't watch the hour 2.
So everyone, if anyone doesn't know, so Jay is here. I wanted to see if Jay was here and talk about this. Jay made some pretty strong statements. He made some pretty strong statements at the beginning of the season. The first one is Milwaukee is going to go 24-0, and then 22-2, and of course we know what happened. He was with a tattoo and that doesn't happen. Next thing he said is Chihuahua's going 0-24. And he said that because it's always the same with expansion teams. The one thing I wanted to do that I did not do was compare their roster from the M2 season to now, because I think there's very few players that are still on it. So
no, I don't think you can look. I mean, you've got Berna Valdivinos, you've got a Poper, which I won't do the other name.
Popier.
I mean, you've got.
I got Brian Aguilar. You have Cañas. You have. I mean, just
Hugo Puentes.
Hugo Puentes, right? So basically, what you have is a Mexican all-star team.
Monterrey, Sonora, and the M2 Chihuahua team.
And RGV, who was an M2 playoff team before Jay was part of this. So, yeah, Jay's strong statements could never. But, so 6 players out of the roster of 26 stayed from the M2 team. So, Jay's prediction was they're going 124, and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, I bet you $20 Chihuahua will finish here's over 500.
So, hang on. They went to a point system, so you probably should have done the amount of points.
The time we made the bet, I just said 13 wins, over 500. Right. So in Jay's infuriating ways that Jay does things, and Jay, I love you very much, but this is infuriating. He's completely 100% right. They've won one game out of what are they, 1-7?
But how many of those games went into overtime?
2. They have 2 overtime losses.
Chihuahua has the same amount, if not more. Like, how many points do they have?
They have the lowest in the league at 5. Okay, they have 1 win and 2 overtime losses.
They've won 1 game, and they have 5 points. Utica has won 2, and they have 6.
Right. But for my bet, they can only lose 5 more games this season. Out of how many?
Maybe you bet 13 points.
What? Maybe I meant 13 points. But I think what's funny is how this league, how the chemistry of this league works. So I made a prediction about Florida when they last season, or 2019-2020 season, when they went crazy and they signed all the free agents in the offseason. I made a prediction that they're not going to play well because it's going to be too many Cooks syndrome. Well, they proved me and everyone else wrong. Coach Clay got Coach of the Year. Well deserved. Ontario was the one that struggled through the first half of the season. Then they took off. This is what's happening to this team, is they just don't have the chemistry yet. Now, I will say that they only have the team that they have at home games because there's a number of players that don't have visas that can travel into the U.S. But they've only played half their games at home and half away so far. So they still have 8 more home games to play. They have 8 and 8, 8 home and 8 away. And granted, they have played a lot of West Coast teams, but there's some games against Tacoma that are in there, and there's games against other teams that I still think I have a chance on this bet. But Jay, you're infuriating me by the fact that you're so correct in this, because you shouldn't be correct in this. And I want to say it's like a blind squirrel nut thing, but you said it all along, and you said it from day one. So that's my piece I want to say to Jay. Still love you, brother.
Well, Everton's feeling sore. He just messaged me. I asked him how he was doing, and he's feeling sore.
Oh, well, he's like 148 years old, so.
Yeah, I did have 2 Stellas in his honor Tuesday before the game.
Very nice.
So are we doing broadcast rankings and picks and
yeah.
Are we?
We're almost done. Oh, so we've been talking about the injury report for years now. Yeah. And I asked the league and I got an answer. So the rule is for the injury report that is never updated, that it has to be updated by the Thursday for every week a week has games. There are penalty guidelines in place, but have not been enforced this season. I understand why, I guess, but it seems to me like it should be all or nothing. Like, either make all teams do it or take it completely off the board. Because it doesn't really make sense that half the teams do it and half don't, because that's how teams scout. They want to find out who's injured and everything. And if some teams do it, it gives other teams an advantage. I think it should be all or nothing. Either enforce it or say, you know what, this season's so messed up with Jay, you're pissing me off. He said, go Chihuahua Lancers.
Go what?
Chihuahua Lancers. It's his joke about the win.
Oh.
But I think you should either totally understand, like with Tacoma situation, they had so many players out with COVID, they had to basically sign half their WISL team. So I think either make everyone do it and say, you know what, no matter what the reason is, you have to do it every week, or you know what, we're just gonna not do it this season. CT, it's on the MASLsoccer.com site. If you go under stats, it's the first thing under there called injury report. And now it is Thursday. It's week 10 of the season, and only one team, which is Ontario, posted out Willie Spur. No other information from any other team on there. Personally, for this season, I'd like to see the whole thing go away and just say, you know what, we're going to give everyone a pass on the injury report this season because we understand what the situation is.
So we've been given permission to comments made by the commissioner. If you want to read what was said to us,
I read the one message. I haven't gotten anything else since then.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, that basically just said the same thing that we thought.
So do you want me to back out and I told him to send it to you, but
Oh, yeah, if you want more and you want to do it,
please
yeah.
don't.
I got more stuff I can riff on, I guess. Let's talk, because this is all I know. Let's talk Milwaukee Wave real quick. Again. If, when Max Ferdinand left to go to St. Louis, there were a lot of comments made like, well, who is going to set up Ian for all those easy tap-in goals? And Ian's not going to be so great, and he doesn't have Max, and Ian's without Max is not anything. And then Ian went and won the MVP in Florida without Max. And so how is Ian Bennett going to score all these goals? Who's going to be the replacement for Max Ferdinand? Now, granted, there is no replacement for a player of Max's caliber. Max, we all love you in Milwaukee, and we will forever. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Derek Huffman, the new star target forward for the Milwaukee Wave. In case anyone hasn't noticed, when he joined the Wave, he played defense. And I think with the injury from Andre Hain, they moved him to target forward. And if they ever move him out, I told Zimmerman I'm canceling all my season tickets forever. He's been an offensive powerhouse for years now, or for weeks now, I should say, not years. He's Coach Ryan Hall actually says he's a menace up top, which is really, really good to hear if you're on the team, and it's really, really bad to hear if you're the coach of that team. Hang on, Matt's coming back, and I have some stuff. And yes, Huffman for president. I wrote that a couple times. I think it's I think that's a foregone conclusion. We'll see if Matt can get back here and I'll wait till Matt to come back to read this. And I have a good answer to it. And other than that, I don't have a whole lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff I could add, but all this stuff takes time, and I've been neglected. So I have this YouTube channel I started for music stuff I keep talking about, and I went 3 weeks over the Christmas break, long break, without doing a video, and I did 2 videos, and now I've not done a video for 2 weeks. I need to spend my free time coming up with video ideas and recording video, putting these things together, and I just haven't. I've been slacking. I'm a slacker. I think it's really cool that there's still 32 concurrent viewers at 10:51 p.m. Central Time. I know some of you are probably on the West Coast, you get a time break, but I know a lot of you are still on the East Coast, and it's almost midnight your time. So thank you very much for staying on with us. I said we were kind of going back to our roots, and I was talking more about the attitudes of what we talk about and things. And I didn't realize it was going to be, for us to just babble and talk about. And now I'm just guessing stuff because Matt's not here yet. Matt read this, so I'm going to read what. Okay, so the rules that we talked about before, it's not rules. I use the wrong terminology. It's like game protocol, game day protocol. So I used the wrong term there. Back. Add him back. So, Matt, I just got the message. I don't know if you read it or not, or if you just sent it to me.
What?
Did you read the message, or did you just send it to me?
Read what message?
The one that you just sent to me. From Tozer. Did you read that, or did you just send it to me?
I read it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
So basically, when we were talking about the rules that we were talking about, it's not rules. It's protocols. They're not changes to game rules. And then there's a really good comment here that he said that people think that's all we do. It's less than 5% regarding the game itself. Huge difference in the league website, media coverage, better broadcasting, big announcements regarding expansion and sponsorships. So like everyone is fixed on the game. That's kind of not their biggest worry right now. It's making money for the owners, expansion and things. My comment is that's great, but somehow find a way to communicate that to the fans. Like, we would love to know that you guys are working on expansion, or you guys are working on better sponsorships, or that and we joke about it being the weed sponsorship, but the CBD deal I've heard is a big thing for the league. It'd be better to hear why and hear how that plays in.
I'm gonna throw this out there. And Commissioner, if you're still watching and you want to come on the show and talk about all of this, you are more than welcome to come on the show. And we can do a state of the MASL. I know I had mentioned it 7 hours ago when we started this, but
you can't come on tonight though, because we're almost done. We can't.
Yeah, I have to. I'm still recovering from jet lag, and I am really tired. But we would love to have you on the show again, so we, the fans, can kind of get an idea as to what you guys are doing.
And maybe that's the way to do it. And because I said maybe like a monthly hi fans, or so at work we have our CIO used to work for Yahoo. He used to work for a startup prescription company that made billions, and he worked for a lot of like big time big name players in the industry, and then he came to our company. Now granted, we're still a big player in the financial industry, but he writes a lot of things. He has a bi-weekly meeting where it's like he has a website all set up with top questions, and you can ask a question, people can upvote it and downvote it and things, and they go over the top questions and then come in with questions in the chat. And then he does like a newsletter type thing where he just, here's what I'm working on, here's what I'm doing, here's the things we're looking at, here's the cool things, here's a feature from one thing. I think that would be a great like weekly or monthly thing.
Did he just send you a message? He is watching right now.
No, I don't get anything. I'm being. Maybe he blocked me.
He probably did. So I will tell you that I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after, but we will have Commissioner Keith Tozer on the show.
There's no Thursday game next week, so if he's not doing anything, then there's no Thursday game the week after.
So he is watching. So
all right, hey Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah, so James, the newsletter monthly, I think monthly might not be enough, because it's, if you really think about the league, it's 4 months, 5 months.
I think when anything, I don't know, like of course he can come on the show whenever he wants. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, he didn't block you.
Okay. Wait, beep,
But
beep,
he
beep,
sent
beep,
it to
beep,
me.
beep, beep,
He
beep, beep,
didn't
beep.
send it to you. He sent it to me.
That's awesome. Wait, beep, 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 beep. Breaking news. LeSharon is coloring her eyebrows. Okay, next.
Oh man, yeah. I was gonna do power rankings based on eyebrows, but
Ooh.
yes. So the commissioner will be on. So that'll be exciting.
All right, take it easy, Jay. Appreciate you staying. In fact, I mean, appreciate everyone staying. In fact, if you haven't clicked that little red button, click the red button and subscribe, and we can increase and inflate our numbers. I know we get and I'll be like the YouTube guys. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell and hit the notification. And I noticed that only 64% of you are actually subscribed to the channel.
I've noticed that too, where they're like, they have the stats, and it's like, well, we want to change that to at least 50-50.
So I noticed that in most, like my channel, most channels, the number of subscribers is like a third to 2/3 non-subscribers. But here we're the opposite. We have 2/3 of the people who watch this are subscribed, and 1/3 aren't.
I don't even want to hear about your other channel.
My other channel's doing well, although I've been slacking. I need to do more.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Commissioner, thank you for watching. We will definitely be in touch. He's got to be on another call.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, and yes, we will keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully we'll have you on soon.
In February. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll target that. All right. Well, that's the only other thing I had was my broadcast rankings and then our picks. In broadcast rankings, let's make this really, really, really easy. I'm going to change this to I'm going to pick the best of the week. I'm going to pick the gold star. I'm going to pick the not cutting it. I'm just going to put them in categories instead of
perfect.
instead of ranking 1 through, because last week, like Ontario and KC were tied. Harrisburg and San Diego were tied. Chihuahua wasn't. So, and what I did is kind of joked. I gave KC the number 1 nod because they said my full name on the broadcast, and Ontario didn't. I'm not including Tuesday's game. That's a different thing.
So you're bundling the Tuesday game separately. Okay.
Tuesday game I'll include this week's for this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So for last week, the gold star goes to Ontario and Kansas City, tied. The good broadcast goes to San Diego and Harrisburg, and you got a lot of work to do goes to Chihuahua. So that's it. Those are the only broadcasts.
So if that's the case, so if the Tuesday game is this week, that means Ontario, you're behind the 8 ball already.
Ontario gets the gold star already.
Is it because of that exclusive interview with Vernon Roth?
Yeah, he was really good. He was good. I enjoyed him. I had no idea who that was until they started, because I zoned out for like 30 seconds while I was trying to figure out if that was you that was coming on. I'm like, who is this guy? And then they showed his picture. I'm like, and then he started talking about that movie. So have you seen that movie, Victory? It's also called One Victory, I think, overseas.
No, I haven't seen it. But I've definitely heard about it, and
Sylvester Stallone is the goalkeeper. Pele is the star forward. They're in a German prison camp, and they basically play a soccer game.
The German national team, and
yep,
or else they'll be free if they win.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God. All right. I'm not doing I'm not doing overtime. I'm not doing another overtime. We're going to a sudden death lightning
Golden
round.
Goal picks.
Lightning round picks.
Lightning round picks. All right. I like this.
So Tuesday's game, I got to pick Ontario, probably 10-goal spread.
Yeah, I think the over-under is 19.5. And I think the over-under of goals scored in the third quarter after the second interview is like 9.
Wow, we both nailed that game. All right. First game, this will be a matchup for the ages. Utica at Baltimore. I'm not going to list off the times anymore because if I'm wrong.
Wait, that's Sunday. That's a Sunday game.
No, that's Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
Saturday, February 5th. 6:05 p.m. Eastern, 4 or 5 Pacific.
All right. Well,
5:30 a.m. for our friends in Pakistan.
for Ken Ezram, it's 2:30 in the morning. I can't pick this game.
What a game to start with. I got to pick Baltimore until
I can't pick it. I mean,
this game to me is like when I used to watch NFL and the Packers were like 12 wins into the season and the Bears were 1 win into the season and they played each other and it would still be a close game and you could almost not pick it.
Okay, so it depends on who's available for Utica. Once I'm going to hold off my prediction until Saturday morning.
Can't do that.
Yes, I could sit there and say, okay, Utica wins if ... Fine. You know what? I'm going to take Utica regardless.
Who's the X Factor? Is it Chris Toth?
The X Factor is Chris. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on. I got a really good.
For the record, hang on. Glass going up, not Keith Tozer's idea.
He wants the glass up.
Fake news.
He said that. I heard him say it with my own.
Fake news. I just got a message from a reliable source. I'm not going to say who it was.
Was it Keith
Maybe
Tozer?
that's why he blocked you.
I got a really good idea. So Bunswacker is in the chat doing a countdown, which only I can see because you can't see it. Basically what he's doing is he's doing a 30-second countdown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find...
all right. Just
I'm going to
one
find
more time.
I'm going to find next week a countdown, and we each get 30 seconds to pick the game and talk about it, and that's it.
I like that because it's like part of the interruption where it's like you only get like a certain amount of time. Okay, I'm taking Utica.
All right, I pick up Baltimore. Next game Saturday, an hour later maybe. Harrisburg at Dallas. Wow.
I will take Harrisburg. I think the X Factor is going to be Willie B. And I mean, Dallas has cooled off a little bit in my eyes.
It's like what?
I mean,
yeah.
They were really close with Kansas City for a little bit, but they got blown out. Harrisburg playing pretty good soccer right now. I mean, they did lose against Baltimore, but I'll take Harrisburg.
Yeah, it's like what team shows up? What Dallas team shows up is a big question.
The X Factor will be Love Groove.
I pick Harrisburg. And I'm kind of irritated that Willie B didn't get the goalkeeper or the defender of the week last week.
I did vote for him for save of the week though last week.
I missed all that.
I voted for Pablo for goal of the week and Willie B for save of the week. You're welcome, Willie B.
Yeah. All right.
There you go.
St. Louis at Milwaukee, 2:05 Eastern, 1 p.m. Central on Sunday, February 6th.
Milwaukee.
I will also take Milwaukee. I think this is a little bit of a gut check game for them. But if they can play the way they did in Chihuahua for either game, they should have this.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think St. Louis also is one of those teams that has cooled off a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe.
But, I mean, we could sit here and say, don't be surprised if the team we didn't pick wins. It's kind of one of those things. I think the level of parity is definitely out there this year. I think a team like Chihuahua could go into San Diego or Ontario and pull off a win on any given night.
You mean like Weird Al parody?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. So Bunswacker picks the ambush, but I don't know who the ambush are. And then James
the
picks
ambush
the
are not really a team anymore. So
yeah, the ambuns. I don't think. I think Pollo may be a X factor for St. Louis, but I don't think at home We'll see what the Sunday afternoon crowd looks like. Weather's
I
supposed to be
would say
decent.
the X factor for this game is going to be Mo NDI for St. Louis.
Could be.
Going up against, who? Marcio Leite, maybe?
Probably. We may have Andre Hain back. We may not. He's still undergoing. He still has a quad injury that's bugging him, but
I could go over Utica's
right.
injury report. I really don't know who's gonna.
Poyo's out. Bunswacker says.
Oh,
all right.
So they're gonna have Sway
Sunday night. We're finally back to a Sunday night game.
Our boy Sway might be in the game.
I don't have that picture. Yeah, he probably won't come up and say hi to us in the stands though.
Well, he probably won't say hi to you.
Well,
He's definitely not going to say hi to me.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so finally we're back to a Sunday night game because I've been missing. Like the games were over at like 5 on Sunday. I was like, what am I supposed to do with myself the rest of the night? Certainly don't want to do anything productive. I want to watch soccer. Tacoma visits San Diego. 7:05 Eastern or Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
I got to tell you, I'm very impressed with San Diego's backup keeper. What's it, Willie
Snare Williams. X-Man.
Yeah. Dude played great the 2 games that Pardo was out. You got Pardo coming back. I don't know if you're going to see Brian Farber. That's the thing. I didn't get a chance to see Brian Farber while I was out there.
Oh.
Or that one guy, he's number 37, I think, for San Diego. What is his name?
The Craig Chilis?
Yes. Yeah, the Craig Chilis. So is he going to play? Who knows?
Yeah. Now to tell Chihuahua, or how do I word this? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. In Chihuahua's defense, they did figure out his name was Childs after like the first quarter or so.
But it's still hilarious.
It was still hilarious, and I appreciate it. So okay.
It is part of numerous text ringtones and normal ringtones as well now. So thank you, Chihuahua.
I'm picking San Diego until someone can prove that they can beat them.
I kind of agree. But I really like Tacoma. I like this Tacoma team.
Right.
I do.
It's as long as John, I'm sorry. I apologize in advance for this. As long as they don't start talking about how they need to work on their 6th attacker or play against the 6th attacker with 2 minutes left, I think San Diego's fine.
San Diego did have some issues, slight issues in that game against Utica. Of course, they were kind of solved pretty quick, and I think they did score a couple 6th attacker goals. So the game was a lot closer than the score showed.
Bunswacker says time up. You gotta pick one.
I already did. I said I'm picking San Diego, but it wouldn't surprise me if Tacoma won.
Yeah, but Kelsey, his ringtone is this.
The Craig Chilis?
That is actually my alarm.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was gonna.
So I've done. So here it is. So anytime Adam calls me on my cell phone, it is the Impractical Jokers, whose phone is ringing, and then it's Craig Chilis. My alarm, anytime I wake up, it's Craig Chilis over and over and over and over and over again.
Till the phone hits the wall, and then you have to get a new phone. Last game of the week, Monday night, February 7th.
Monday night. It's an Ontario home game.
10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific. Tacoma at Ontario. Tacoma on their second game of a weird weekend. I got to pick Ontario for this game.
Me too.
I think they're going to be able to figure out what's red card delay a game 3 minutes for in the box.
We didn't even get a warning.
Yeah, I think Ontario's going to figure out
Ontario flipped a switch.
Yeah.
In the middle of the third quarter against Utica, and they didn't let up. Geez, Frank Tayu scoring 5 goals. I think, of course, it didn't help that the people that defended him the first time. Oh, congrats to Soccer Sam!
What?
New baby boy.
Oh, congratulations, Soccer Sam! That's awesome.
He's a new fan to the league. Everybody, new fan. We have to welcome him.
Newest member in the box. Or inside the box.
Who, Soccer Sam? Yes.
Inside the box, since we're talking about Ontario.
That's right. But yeah, they turned on a switch, and I think some teams have kind of gotten used to guarding Frank Tayu, and I don't think anyone on Tacoma can guard Frank Tayu.
It's weird because just when I go, is Frank, and I don't want to ever say anything like this, but you go like, is Frank kind of lost a little bit, or have they figured out Frank, and then he turns around and scores 5 goals? Like, oh, guess not.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, the people that defended Frank the first game in Utica weren't there to defend him in the second game. So,
yep,
different game plan. Which hats off to Jimmy Nordberg for doing that. But yeah, I think they've flipped that switch.
Well, and
so,
Tacoma's,
give me Ontario.
Tacoma's coming off a back-to-back, and Ontario's almost a full week rested. So,
yep,
I think Ontario gets that one, and that's the last game. There's only 5 games this weekend. Well, Tuesday's game counted for this week, so there's only 6 games this whole week. But we do have 5 different arenas this weekend. It's getting kind of... I don't know how much I like the back-to-back at the same arena in the same weekend.
I don't mind it. I know that's going to happen to us. I know Tacoma Chihuahua is going to be back-to-back.
Every Chihuahua home game is back-to-back against the same team.
Yeah. Ours I think is Tacoma Chihuahua, which is going to suck for me. I mean, if I lived closer, I'd be fine with it, but...
Yeah.
I mean, driving for a late game, and then driving home, and then driving back. So that'll be interesting, but that's not until April. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the teams. Any closing thoughts before we really close the show?
I'm really tired. Excited for what's ahead over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Maybe
next week. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
And hopefully I can get out of my driveway in the morning.
Oh, that's the bonus. My commute is still the same. Bed to bathroom to downstairs, and I'm here.
Nice.
Yay.
Yay.
So I want to thank everybody for staying. This is one of the best shows we've ever had. Bushwhacker, we get a warning. We had a yellow card for too many overtimes today. This is the longest show we've had since we've had Derek Huffman on the show.
That is true. That is very true.
For a long time. We kind of said we're going to try to stick to 2 hours, and we would go over a little bit to 2.5, and we'll go like, we can't go that late. And then one time we said we are going to try to do an hour show, and that was just funny because we just can't do that. How many cards do we get today? Probably enough to be suspended for a week, but we don't acknowledge cards.
I have yet to hear anything from the disciplinary committee.
Yes.
Keith Tozer said we did fine, so I think we're good.
I did not get hit in the head with the new headshot ball from Flight, so I'm good. As far as that goes, I've written insert joke here. So, again, thank you everyone. Hit like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully if you're new, you come back next week. All the updates are on the In the Box Facebook group page. Yep. So if anything does happen where we get our interview with Keith Tozer, you will know about it.
Yeah. Ronald says, hope you guys had a blarst. Although he spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was the blarstiest of blarstes.
Yeah, it was the blarstiest.
That's a thing.
Larsh noggin.
Still on my West Coast. And I'm not saying this. I didn't do anything recreational while I was out there, but my West Coast high.
Oh, I see. So you didn't visit our new weed sponsor for.
I did not. No,
Okay.
no. There was no sort of tour or anything like
Right.
that. But,
Okay.
it's good to be back and talking indoor soccer.
Yeah. So the yesterday was February 2nd.
Yep.
And
yeah,
the date
it
was
was Groundhog Day. Yep.
February 2nd, 2/2/22.
Yep.
So I was leaving the store, and well, yesterday for me, it was 2 days ago for you because it's already past midnight for you. I was leaving the store and I saw this kid crying. I'm like,
You saw him crying?
yeah.
Okay, that's not good.
And it was weird. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Are you okay? And he said, yeah. Because today is the second day of the second month of 2022, and I just turned 22. Today's my birthday. I'm like, wow, congrats. That's a big day for you. Happy birthday. But why are you crying? He said, so I went to the racetrack and I put all of my money that I have saved up, $2,222 on the second horse in the second race of the day, and the race was at 2:22 p.m. I said, wow,
Okay.
that sounds great, but why are you crying? What went wrong? And he said, he came in second.